My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And talk we will, and take your calls. So much has happened, and since yesterday, the things that President Trump has done are so incredibly brilliant. I mean, everything he's done is so incredibly brilliant. Both of them involve the top two stories. Of course, the Palestinian-Israeli deal, that was huge, right? And this meme video that he sent out of Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer was brilliant times infinity. And what he's done in both of these instances is exposed the other side in ways that no one else would even dare do if they even thought of it, which they wouldn't. Now, the one I'm going to lead with today, which I'll get into in just a moment, is about the Hakeem Jeffries Schumer thing, but I'll do the other one first just because it's a brief mention now. I'll get into more detail later. This 20-point plan that President Trump released yesterday with Netanyahu, this peace plan for Israel and Gaza, the Palestinians are getting everything they want. It's like, the way I would describe it, it's like they won the Powerball. And Trump and Netanyahu, now they hope they take the deal. Well, I don't know about Netanyahu. Netanyahu probably doesn't want them to take the deal. But they're hoping that the Palestinians take the deal, but they're expecting them not to take the deal. And if they don't take the deal, boom. So they made the Palestinians an offer that is incredibly good. I mean, they couldn't have written a better offer themselves. And if they don't accept this perfect peace deal, well, then it's the gloves are off for Netanyahu. So he's really put the Palestinians and their backers in Iran and elsewhere in a real catch-22 situation. I'm going to get into more of that later. That was incredibly brilliant. And it was so smart not to take questions from the press. But this thing that he did with the video meme that he posted to social media yesterday with Hakeem Jeffries wearing that Mexican hat and Charles Schumer saying all these things was so funny, so brilliant, so spot on, and exposed them for being, these Democrats, for being exactly what it is that they are. And I'll go through this. And the liberals just don't get it. The fake news media don't get it. The Democrats don't get it. Hakeem Jeffries is calling it racist. This meme that none of these people get, because their Trump derangement syndrome is so deep into their bones, is incredibly funny. And for something to be funny, I don't know if this is the first rule of comedy or not. I'm not a comedian, but I do know how jokes work. And for something to be funny, there has to be some truth to it. If there's no truth to it, it's not funny. And the reason this video with Hakeem Jeffries and the Mexican sombrero and Chuck Schumer saying these things is because it's true. It's true. And that's what makes it funny, and everyone knows it. And what the Democrats did, they're so out of touch with reality. First of all, the Democrats have it in their mind that people in this country will be upset at a government shutdown. They're out of their minds. The American people outside of the Washington Beltway and the media are excited for a government shutdown and want the government to shut down. We don't care. Okay, we don't care. The federal workers are very arrogant. They mess with everyone's lives, and no one cares that the federal workers don't get paid. They'll get paid eventually, and if Trump does a bunch of layoffs during a shutdown, the people support that too. But there's no sympathy in this country about the government workers being shut down during a government shutdown, because we all know that only non-essential things from the government are shut down, that essential services, which is almost everything, remain open. And there's very few ways that an average person would even know there was a government shutdown if the media weren't telling you that every 6 seconds. So there's no sympathy there. But the other thing is, the Democrats went in with this craziness about healthcare coverage for illegals. And you out there on the left that are listening to me, call me and tell me the last time the Democrat Party advocated for something to help the American people. And I always have to put a condition on that. When I say the American people, I'm defining that as citizens of the United States of America, not citizens of North America, which would include Canada and Mexico, or Latin America or Central America. When is the last time the Democrats have advocated for something for the citizens of the United States of America? I'd love to hear that. The number's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. The last time. Think about that. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a difficult question, but it is, because you don't have an answer, do you? Yeah, probably some people doing some Googling or something. But call me, 888-465-2631. The last time the Democrats advocated for something for the citizens of the United States of America, those American people. Not South American, not Central American, not North American people, United States of American people. Okay? I think you'd be hard-pressed. And for them to come in and advocate and demand benefits to illegals, they're out of their freaking minds. They just lost the national election last year because they were advocating for people from other countries instead of Americans. And the liberals just don't get it. Now, this is Caitlin Collins on CNN was having complete freakouts about it. And let's play some of this. Hold on, there we go.
I need those files.
Oh, it's not going to let me play it. Hold on a second. I'll cue it up here. I had it all queued up, and then I hit the wrong. I made the mistake of hitting the ad instead of the video. Hold on, I'll pull it up and we'll play it again. But these liberals in the media,
for businesses to make,
they actually are at a loss here. They do not understand why the people are against them on this. They just don't see it. Now, if you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, if you go to my main stream, you'll be able to see and hear all the audio and video that I share and all of that. There's a direct link to my main stream in the description of the video if you're watching with the green. Okay, so this is CNN Caitlin Collins yesterday.
We're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing. I hope they change their mind, but we're going to see.
That was Vice President J.D. Vance at the White House shortly after they wrapped up a meeting with Democrats and other congressional leaders. And just a few moments before we came on the air tonight, we had not yet heard from President Trump what he thought of this meeting. We had heard from Senator Schumer, Minority Leader HAKEEM Jeffries, the Vice President there, House Speaker Mike Johnson, Majority Leader John Thune over in the Senate, but not yet from President Trump himself. There was notable silence, given he typically weighs in. And just a few moments before we came on air tonight, the president reposted this fabricated artificial intelligence video of Democrats that he had just invited over to the White House to discuss keeping the federal government open.
Okay. Now, I can't play it because there's some really foul language and some music that I can't play. But I'm sure you all have seen it. It's HAKEEM Jeffries wearing the Mexican hat and Schumer telling the truth about the Democrat Party.
As he's been in key meetings with Democrats, the leaders that you just saw there, over how to keep the federal government open for all the reasons I just laid out that could impact many Americans, not just federal workers, and could have far-reaching implications.
Okay. See, now this is the thing. I've seen these government shutdowns my whole adult life since I've been following the news and doing this job. Every time there's a government shutdown, the liberals in the media act as if the world's going to end. And it's the same thing every time. The same thing every time. The American people, nothing changes for us. It changes for those that work in the Washington Beltway. They get sent home. Some of them don't get paid until the government opens back up, then they get all that back pay. And I get that struggle, but who cares? They're part of the federal bureaucracy. All right, back to Caitlin Collins here.
I want to get straight to CNN's Manu Raju, who's up on Capitol Hill tonight. Manu, I mean, we have been asking all these people coming out of this meeting what they thought.
Manu, isn't that an illness that kissing illness that high school kids get?
About it, I kind of thought people had been pretty measured in terms of maybe there was some common ground of where they could find agreement on the subsidies and whatnot. I'm not really sure what that video the president just posted, though, does for these negotiations.
Well, Democrats actually had thought in coming out of that meeting that Trump was actually receptive to some of their ideas, including to extend those expiring subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, those that expire at the end of the year. That's been part of the Democratic demand. Chuck Schumer said that he thought there was, quote, real division between Trump and the Republican leaders who have rejected those demands. But that video there shows very clear where Donald Trump's head is. He is very much in line with the Republican position, which is to reject these Democratic demands, not just on the expiring subsidies, but also to reverse those Medicaid cuts that are included as part of Donald Trump's signature domestic policy achievement, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
See, they want to reverse all the health insurance coverage for the illegals.
And for provisions to constrain Donald Trump's ability to cut federal spending without the consent of Congress. Democrats want that added as well. The Republicans say, no way. They want a straight extension of government funding up until November 21st. They say at that point, we can negotiate these issues later. Now, Democrats are mostly united behind this strategy, other than
the road
perhaps
to doom.
This one senator, John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, who has been very critical of Chuck Schumer's and Hakeem Jeffries' strategy in all of this. I asked him about his position, his view.
See, now Fetterman's in a, he's in a Republican state now. So he's talking like MAGA all the time because he wants to get reelected.
As we head into this likely government shutdown by tomorrow night, he said that Democrats, if they were to enact their changes, they should win more elections rather than demand these changes now. I asked him further about that comment just moments ago. Senator, you said in there that Democrats need to win elections to get their policy changes. So what is your problem with their approach that the leadership is taking right now?
Right now, it's like you're running the risk of plunging our nation into chaos. Millions and millions of lives will be upended, and now that's the kinds of message. What kind of message does that send to our country and to our allies and to our enemies? The president has a lot of levers he could pull. This is one we could pull, but why would we pull that lever? Because that allows him to pull a lot more levers and make a lot of changes about the government that we can't, that he can't do now. I mean, I think that would be the ideal outcome for Project 2025.
Oh boy, he's back to that thing.
And
look at Caitlin Collins. Looks like she's at a funeral, doesn't she? She's so upset about this. It's because they're out of power. They're losing. They've lost. They have no influence. And the left, which includes CNN, have no hope of ever coming back to power or influence.
Last comment referring to the concern that many Democrats have that if the government were to shut down, that Trump could even go further to try to expand his power, even further than he has gone in his first 9 months in office. I put that question to Hakeem Jeffries, a Democratic leader, also just moments ago. I said, are you concerned about that? He dismissed that, Caitlin. He said that Trump has already been doing that. He said that he believes they're on firm ground on the issue of health care. But the question is for Chuck Schumer is if more Democrats start to sound like John Fetterman, expect Senate Republican leaders to put that straight extension of government funding on the floor time and time again, hoping that public pressure will mount and more Democrats will ultimately capitulate and ultimately they get the 7 Democrats they need to advance legislation in the Senate. But that could take some time. How long, Kaylin, we'll see. But this could be a prolonged shutdown. We'll see if it gets to 35 days, which is the longest shutdown in government history. The last one that happened from 2018 into 2019, the last time Donald Trump was president.
Okay. So they have CNN is an arm of the Democrat Party. I think we all agree with that. So what CNN is saying is like the pulse of the Democrats too. So, we can take that to the bank. I mean, look at Caitlin Collins here and Manu Raju here, named after a kissing disease. He's also not feeling too well. And they keep talking about Americans feel the pain. The left and CNN are under the impression that the American people are going to be upset at a government shutdown and stand up against it. They're not. Okay? They're not. They're not. The Democrats are not going to be able to rally public support behind this or anything else. Look at this. Now, this is this article is in the Daily Beast about the Trump video of Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries in the Mexican hat. Trump posts jaw-dropping AI-generated clip as shutdown looms. Let me pull this article up on my phone and share this. These people have no idea what country they're in, right? You know, they think they're back in time 5 years, and the wokesters are in charge. This is what the Daily Beast writes about that. Donald Trump's AI posting habit reared its ugly head again Monday. So maybe this is a liberal article, so, you know, liberal word choice. Amid a looming government shutdown in the form of a racist video featuring top Democrat leaders. What is racist about Hakeem Jeffries in a Mexican hat and Charles Schumer in the things that he says in that AI-generated video? Hakeem Jeffries isn't even Hispanic, right? Why would it be racist? The president posted the deepfake clip showing Chuck Schumer speaking to reporters alongside Hakeem Jeffries, who was wearing a sombrero and has a mustache. The True Social video was posted just hours after he hosted the pair at an Oval Office meeting. And, you know, this quote of Schumer from the first term, elections have consequences. They're out of power. Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no vote. This is what Schumer says, okay, in the meme video. I can't play it for you because it has music in it, okay, and I can't play it on the radio because of the language, not just the music. But it has Chuck Schumer saying this. Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because all of our woke trans BS, and he says the whole word. Schumer's likeness says as a mariachi band plays in the background. Then Schumer goes on in the AI video. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. If we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of blank, you know? At least for a while, until they learn English and realize they hate us too. The video comes a few days. The video's hilarious. And what makes the reason that they're so mad about the video is because it's true. And they know it's true. The video comes, this is back to the Daily Beast. The video comes a few days after the president posted and then deleted another video of himself promoting a non-existent product called MedBeds. I didn't catch that one. I missed that one. Schumer soon responded on X saying, if you think your shutdown is a joke, it just proves what we all know. You can't negotiate. You can only throw tantrums. Jeffries went a different route. Bigotry will get you nowhere. Cancel the cuts, lower the cost, save healthcare. We are not backing down, Hakeem Jeffries wrote on X before posting a photo of Trump with one-time pal, they say, Jeffrey Epstein, who was not his pal. Earlier in the day, Schumer, Jeffries, Vice President J.D. Vance, Mike Johnson, and John Thune had all offered statements following a joint meeting that afternoon on the potential shutdown. The meeting ended with little movement on the issue and both sides blaming each other. Trump's post was the first time he had weighed in publicly. Later on, Caitlin Collins of CNN wondered what kind of message the video sent. The video sent the message that the Democrats, as they have been for years, are representative not of the American people, but of foreign people. And all this talk of the great replacement theory and everything, with the illegals coming from the southern border, it is true. And this video highlights the truth of that. And it's, you know, we're going to go into these midterms very likely now gaining seats in both the House and the Senate, which is unheard of in a presidential second term. You know, they lose seats in the midterms. Not this time, because every opportunity that the Democrats have to screw up, they screw up. And so far as this video, it's one of the funniest things I've seen online in a long time. And I was talking on YouTube early this morning that if Jimmy Kimmel was producing content 1/4 as funny as that video that President Trump posted with Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, he wouldn't have to pull all these stunts to try to hold on to his job. It's that funny. What President Trump did with this video is what the late night shows are supposed to be doing. Be funny. What Saturday Night Live's supposed to do. Be funny. But they can't be funny. Okay, I'm getting text messages and everything like crazy this morning. I usually have everything silenced when I'm on the air, but I keep on the a little bit of a notification in case I hear from the radio station. But back to what I said at the beginning of this segment. You would be hard-pressed to think of an example of the Democrats coming out and advocating for something that would help the citizens of the United States. Now, I asked the question, when was the last time you can think of that the Democrats advocated for something to help the American citizens of this great country? And I saw some people said Obamacare. Well, that's not even true. But if it was true, that was 15 years ago. That was 2010. Obamacare was a disaster. But even if it wasn't, your most recent example is 15 years ago? Right? What does that tell you about your Democrat Party? See, what happened with the Democrats, this is what they, with the rise of Trump from the first campaign through the first term and the rallies and everything, the MAGA movement led by President Trump is the most diverse political movement in the history of this country and also the largest political movement in this country. It's history. And they realized that they've lost the middle class. They've lost the middle class. The middle class are always getting stomped on by the Democrats to pay for freeloaders, whether they're American freeloaders or foreign freeloaders. They lost the blacks, the Democrats, because we have, blacks are, we have full economic equality now. So like the rest of the Americans, they don't like to pay taxes to support freeloaders. But a lot of liberal blacks that are even lower income have left the Democrat Party because of the illegal immigration. Because they were bringing the illegals in by the tens of millions, literally, in the last 4 years, and setting them up with a retirement plan, free housing, free food, Section 8 housing, money every month, everything else. And they don't have to work. And a lot of extremely liberal blacks saw what they were doing and said, wait a minute, that's our reparations money that they're giving. So they lost the blacks. And the Democrats, they've given up on blacks, on Americans in general, and said, we can't con them anymore to vote for us. We've lost them. There's no union power anymore. We sent all the jobs to China. So we're going to bring in a new group of people, very poor people, mostly from South America, but we'll use the southern border to bring poor people in from around the world. We'll get them dependent on us, and they'll vote for us forever. They used to run this racket with senior citizens. They've also lost the senior citizen vote. But if you go back to the 80s and 90s, the senior citizens, they were always, if you vote Republican, you're going to lose your Social Security. Remember, the Democrats used to talk about the Social Security lockbox. Oh, you can't vote Republican, your Social Security will be gone. And senior citizens, it was a scare tactic, believed that. Well, senior citizens today don't buy that line of crap. They know that's not true, right? So they've lost all these groups. And the Democrats said, there's nothing we can do. We've lost these people. Let's bring in tens of millions of people through the southern border. We'll set them up. They'll be financially dependent on us, and we'll get them voting. And every 2 years, when there's an election, we'll tell them if you vote Republican, you're going to lose your free housing. Your Section 8 housing's gone. Your college education your kids are getting for free, that'll be gone. Your free health care will be gone, right? Your EBT, that'll all be gone unless you vote Democrat. And President Trump has reversed all of that, not just through the mass deportations, and shutting down the border, but the American people are wise to that now. They've been exposed. And that's it. So in the Democrat Party, they never miss an opportunity to take the wrong side of the issue, right? You see it going on right here and right now. Now, I very much want to hear your thoughts on this. I got a lot I want to cover today. This is only one issue, but it's a big issue. If you're watching live, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll free. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Now, I want to tell you guys, Mike Lindell is sponsoring this expansion of the show that I've been doing, expanding the morning show to 4 hours, my afternoon show, my weekend content, and podcast. And I've been telling you that you got to go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and let Mike Lindell know that his support is money well spent. Well, this is the first month of their sponsorship of this expanded content. So go to mypillow.com right now and order, because I'll be talking to them. The first of the new month is tomorrow, so I'll be talking to them in the next day or two, and they're going to let me know how this first month expansion went. Okay, so to continue all this expanded content I'm doing, we have to let Mike know that it's worth it. So go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane. The free shipping offer is still in effect, and there's incredible deals going on right now. And let Mike Lindell know that you want him to continue his sponsorship. All right, we'll take a quick break and be back.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bedsheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queens $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, and if you were watching on the live stream with the green screen right before I went on the air, I've had a rough morning, okay? I've been up a long time. I made a members-only video before this show today, and I went through. And I started the live stream with the green screen behind me right before, and I spilled coffee right here on my desk with all my controls, and I stepped outside, grabbed my pillow towel, and cleaned it all up. Right here. This is my pillow towel, and it cleaned it all up. So these towels are awesome, and I'm lucky it didn't get on my headphones. It's all of my equipment's here right before airtime. It would have been a disaster. So let Mike Lindell know. So that's a big thing that's going on with the government shutdown, and I hope it shuts down and stays shut down through the midterms. Don't you guys? Couple other things that we're going to cover today. I'm going to go through the offer that the president made to the Palestinians. There's some major new stuff going on with Charlie Kirk. In fact, I got to pull that up so that I don't forget. Let me pull this up. Hold on, guys. Okay. And, I also want to talk about this Bad Bunny that they've got performing at the Super Bowl halftime. And I'm not a football fan. You guys know this. I do watch a little bit. I've been watching a little bit of football this year. My wife and we follow Florida State. I went to bed last night. My wife stayed up and watched the Dolphin game, but I'm not a big football fan. My wife is, so because she's a football fan, I watch a little bit. I do like to follow Florida State, FSU. I do like Florida State. My wife went to Florida State. I didn't, but I do follow their team. And it's easy for me to say I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl, okay? It's easy for me to say that. This Bad Bunny, who I have never heard of Bad Bunny until recently. I did hear of him. I just didn't remember the name when he started this anti-ICE push. Now, I understand he is Puerto Rican, which makes him an American citizen, and that's cool. I nothing against Puerto Rico. We're going to Puerto Rico on our MAGA cruise in March. Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico is my favorite place in all the Caribbean. I love it. That's why we go there on our MAGA cruises. But this guy is hardcore anti-Trump, hardcore anti-ICE, and I'm not suggesting, and he also has announced that he won't, tour in the United States because of ICE. Maybe he can't fill up a venue in the United States, and he's found this clever way to explain why he's not here. Maybe he's so unpopular in the United States, that he doesn't play here. I don't know. But to have this guy do the halftime show at the Super Bowl, to me, is completely insane. And I've seen a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to watch the halftime. You're still going to watch the game. I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to watch that. I see a lot of that. What would happen if MAGA as a whole decided not to watch the Super Bowl? What would happen? What would happen? By the way, what number Super Bowl was this? I can't read the Roman numerals when they get this high. I'd forgotten. Now, it's easy for me to boycott because I don't care to watch it anyway, right? I go to bed. I could care less. But the NFL has done nothing but disrespect our country, our government, our people, our flag. They spent years calling our country racist, attacking our great flag with that take a knee crap with BLM. We finally somehow got beyond that. And now they pull this crap? They have some guy coming out at the halftime show that advocates against ICE at a time when ICE has literally been attacked by a Democrat domestic terrorist in Dallas. So if MAGA turned off not the halftime show, but the entire game, would it move the needle at all? Would it move the needle at all? No. Is it possible to even do? Again, for me, it's easy for me to boycott something I don't consume. I mean, I would have that on because my wife would want to watch the Super Bowl. For me, if it weren't for my wife, when the Super Bowl comes on, now when I was younger, I used to at the radio station I was at, we used to do Monday night football parties and Super Bowl parties at sports bars that were sponsors, and I'd go then, and it was exciting back then because there was so much that was put around the Super Bowl commercials. And everybody the next day was talking about the Super Bowl commercials. And I can remember being in sports bars and the commercials would come on. You could hear a pin drop in a noisy sports bar. You remember those days? Those days are long behind us. But I don't watch it. So I can boycott it. But can you? And should you? This is from Fox News. Bad Bunny's ICE comments resurface as NFL fans debate selection of Super Bowl halftime show. And I think it should be boycotted. I really do. I think not just the halftime. I'm talking about the entire show should be banned or boycotted. Send a message. With the girls' sports, we were all saying, hey, if these girl swimmers just wouldn't jump in the pool and Leah Thomas was swimming by themselves, this would end. And no one had the courage to do it. For a while, eventually they did. And they're doing it now today in some of these sports. We were asking these girls to not compete against the transgendered athletes. They did, and we criticized them for it. We were asking them to take their entire lifetime of hard work that's put into a couple of events and boycott those events and not participate in events that they've worked all their life to be in, like the Olympics. Those lady boxers in the Olympics as an example. Remember when that lady boxer wouldn't box the guy and how we held her up as a hero? So if you were asking these female athletes that have spent their entire lives from the times they were little girls to become Olympic level swimmers and boxers and other athletes, and you're asking them not to compete in the single event or two that they've worked all their life for, getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and even on the weekends before school, practicing, their parents taking them huge amounts of sacrifice of not just time and hard work, but financial sacrifice. If you can ask them to not jump into the pool and swim against them or get into the ring and box them, you can't miss one game, 1 year to send a message about Bad Bunny. I don't think it's a big ask. Do you? So these are some of the things we'll talk about. And if you're on hold, you stand by. We'll take some calls after the top of the hour when the radio station picks this up. There's quite a few other things I'm going to cover too, not just the things I brought up so far, because there's been a lot of news that's dropped since yesterday, even last night since I went to bed. So I'm going to be covering all that stuff and taking your calls. The number's pinned in the chat in the live stream if you'd like to call in. It's 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are tuned in. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, good. All right. So those are a couple of the main topics. There's some other big topics I'll cover as well. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. We're going to be on the radio in just a few minutes. See if he's giving me the time yet. No, hasn't given me the time yet. Waiting for Mike to text me. Now, one other thing I want to mention here, because I don't want to get involved in too big of a thing. Thursday last week, was the official day of open carry in the state of Florida. So it's been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Wait, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 5 days. Today's day 5. Okay, although I've hardly been out on day 5. I went out to get coffee this morning. But so we've had 4 full days. You know, I have not seen a single person in person doing open carry. The reason I thought of this is people have been texting me videos from social media. Brad, out in California, he goes on our cruises, friend of mine. He sent me a video of a guy with a rifle over his back riding a motorcycle down the highway in Florida. Someone sent me a video of a guy with an AR-15 walking around a Walmart in Fort Lauderdale. But I haven't seen it with my own eyes yet. Okay, we got about 2 minutes and we'll be live. Yeah, in 2 minutes we'll be live on the air. I haven't seen it with my own eyes yet. Have you? Anyone that's in Florida? I haven't seen a single open carry person since it went into effect. Now, why that is, I don't know. I haven't done it because I don't want to be the first. I don't want to be the first one to do it and freak people out. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not concealed carrying. I'm talking about open carry. We now have open constitutional carry. And I see these videos online, but I've not seen it in person yet. And I was expecting to see it in person. But a lot of places, they don't allow it. Like, and what I've done is places that I go to regularly, before I'll go in, I'll do a quick Google search to see what their policy is. Like yesterday, I went to Chipotle. Chipotle, they put out a policy like in 2014 or 15 that they don't even allow people with concealed weapons with permits. The only people allowed with guns in their premises are police officers. So 1 minute we'll be live. So the way it works is a business, if they tell you can't have the weapon, you can't have it. And if they call the police and you don't leave, it's a felony trespass. And nobody wants a felony. Nobody wants to be trespassed, especially a felony trespass. So I've not seen a single person open carrying yet. If you have, I'm curious about it. But I've not seen it. And I was so expecting it. Maybe a lot of people are waiting like I'm waiting. All right, we got less than 30 seconds. And then we'll be live. So if you're on hold, you stand by. I got to open up the show, and I'll bring up a couple things, and then we'll start taking some calls, but I got a lot to cover. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It is Tuesday already. Can you believe it? September 30th, 2025. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Callers on hold, you stand by. I want to bring up a few things, and then we'll go to the calls, but I'm going to bring this up first. I want to talk about this Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl halftime. They're going to get $200 million in free publicity in the next couple of days because everyone's going to be talking about this. I have never heard of Bad Bunny until like yesterday. Bad Bunny was in the news and I heard the story, but I still had not heard them. I have not heard any of their music, nor will I unless it's in one of the news stories. I'm just not interested. But I do remember not long ago hearing a story that now I know was Bad Bunny. That they take this anti-ICE position. They won't perform in the United States because of ICE. They're afraid that their fans will be raided and deported. Now, Bad Bunny is from Puerto Rico, which makes them a U.S. citizen, but they sing only in Spanish, so they have a Spanish following. And I'm wondering, and I saw in some of the news stories, I don't know if Bad Bunny is transgender or not, but I see a lot of pictures of Bad Bunny wearing dresses and having breasts and things like this. I don't know what the status is of all of that, but it looks kind of like a trans person or pretending to be one. I don't know. But I want to ask you guys this question, and there's a few things I want to ask you about this. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll get to the phones in a bit. One, Bad Bunny, is Bad Bunny trans? What is with the breasts and the boobs and these things I've seen, and like prom dresses and stuff? Or is that just some publicity? So I don't know anything about Bad Bunny other than their strong anti-MAGA, anti-Trump, anti-ICE, pro-illegal immigrant position. Okay. But Bad Bunny announced that they won't have concerts in the United States because they're afraid that their fans will be deported. Is that true, or is Bad Bunny not able to get enough people to come to concerts in the United States? Does Bad Bunny not have enough fan base in the United States to have a tour, and they're using this as an excuse for not having a tour? This is a MAGA country. I don't know. I'm asking you guys. But here's the reason I bring this up is this. Okay? I hear a lot of people saying that they're going to boycott the halftime show. Really? How many of you during halftime run out to get food, go to the bathroom, run to the store to get more beer? Whatever it is you do, right? What kind of boycott is that? And if you're not going to watch the show, is it still going to be on your television muted? The NFL has taken advantage and abused the American people at levels that can't even be measured. First of all, this tax-free status thing they have is absurd. How many of their stadiums were paid for by taxpayers? But the disrespect they showed our country with the Black Lives Matter take a knee during the national anthem infuriated people. Somehow the NFL survived that and things kind of got back to normal. Now they're pulling this with this Bad Bunny that, come on. Most people my age have never heard of until this news story, and certainly didn't follow, is not watching the halftime enough. Why not boycott the entire game? Why can't you boycott the game? Now, you guys know that listen regularly, I'm not a football fan. I don't watch too much football. I watch a little bit. I do. My wife is a big football fan, so I do watch a little bit of it. I do like to follow Florida State. You know, I watch a Florida State game here and there. But so far as the big game, I could not care less about the big game. All right? I don't even know who played last year. And I'm not embarrassed to tell you. I just don't care. So it's easy for me to boycott something I don't want to watch anyway. Okay? But when I hear people say, well, I'm not going to watch the halftime, I'm going to boycott the halftime. You know, we just went through this big controversy the last few years during the Autopin administration of Joe Biden with the transgender sports issue. And all of us on the right said during all of this, these girls need to stand up and not participate, and this would stop it. And of course, they didn't do it. Later, some have, and some girls are doing it now, but they weren't doing it then. And they were losing, and they weren't doing it. And I understand where they're coming from. You know, these young girl athletes in college and the Olympics, the girls themselves and their parents have sacrificed their entire lives for one or two events. A financial sacrifice, an incredible sacrifice of time and effort and hard work and pain and practice and all this stuff, waking up in the early morning hours before school every day and training and all of this. And we asked them without even thinking, if you're there on the board with Leah Thomas, don't jump. Let Leah Thomas swim themselves. Don't get in the boxing ring at the Olympics. And then someone didn't, right? Remember the one lady boxer refused to box, that transgender boxer, and they were celebrated as heroes. So we were all asking these female athletes that have dedicated their entire lives to compete in one or two events to boycott that event that they've worked all their life to be in. You can't turn off one game? Is it that important? Because I haven't heard anybody say anything other than, I'm not going to watch the halftime show. Which most of you probably don't watch anyway. But this is a big FU to the American people, rising to the level of the take a knee era. It really is. And I know there have been controversies, you know, the boob thing years ago and Beyonce. I know people will talk about these different controversies. This is a whole different thing. This isn't a publicity thing for controversy. This is the NFL coming out and saying F you to the people of this country, and they're saying it loud and they're saying it proud, and I don't hear anyone saying they're going to boycott the game. Now, like I said, it's easy for me to boycott a game that I don't want to watch anyway. And there's no way that I'm sure it would be on in my house because my wife would want to watch it. I'd be asleep before the end of the game. No doubt about it. I may not even make it to halftime. So it's easy for me. There's no sacrifice on my part. In fact, it'd make things a little nicer for me if I didn't have to watch it because I really don't enjoy it. I really don't. You know? But what are you going to do? Are you going to stand up? Can you stand up? Is America, you know, this is a MAGA nation we're in. We are the majority. Not them. We're the majority by far. So are you going to stand up and not turn your television on and send a message? Or are you going to claim to boycott the halftime, which you would probably do anyway because you got to go to the bathroom or you got to run and get more beer or something? You probably would do that anyway. So this is your time to decide. Are you the real deal or are you all talk? So I want to hear from you guys about this with this Bad Bunny. Now, like I said, I never heard of Bad Bunny until like yesterday, right? I heard that one story a while back about the ICE comments, but I didn't know the name. I know the name now. I've not heard any of their music. I'm not interested. I wouldn't even, if they walked into the studio right now, I wouldn't even recognize them. Okay? And I'm not interested. But you've got, if you're serious, you've got to do more than the halftime. Now, the other thing is, would the NFL care if you didn't watch the halftime show? Would they care? Maybe they would. Maybe they wouldn't. but the message would be sent. And they get those ratings in real time. You know, they used to have those Nielsen families and everything. That's all gone. Everyone's a Nielsen family now, however you watch it. Whether you watch it on your cable and it's on your box, or you're watching it on one of the streaming services, they have ratings in real time. So they'll know. And muting it during halftime doesn't do it. Now, I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. I was telling you guys yesterday for the first time, Life Imaging FLA, they have changed my life, okay? They have changed my life. I told you guys that I just revealed this, I think, for the first time yesterday in detail. My entire adult life, I've had high cholesterol of around 300. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? And I have been told, I've tried everything to lower it, and I'm not into taking a bunch of prescription medications. And let me tell you, every doctor that I have seen for the last 25 to 30 years has told me, Brian, you are going to have a heart attack. When you get in your 50s, you're going to have a heart attack. And now I'm in my 50s. I'm 54. And there has not been a day for the last many years that I haven't woken up and said to myself, I'm going to have a heart attack at some point. When you get into your 50s, guys in their 40s and 50s have heart attacks. That's it. Right? They're done. You hear it all the time. And I went over to Life Imaging FLA. They gave me a heart scan and a whole body scan. And I was worried and I had made plans. I had expected when I had my full body and heart scan at Life Imaging FLA that I was going to have at least 30% blockage. At least 30% blockage with plaque buildup all over the place. And I was expecting to possibly go straight to the hospital. I thought by this time I would be having stents put in. I'm not kidding. And I went over there with someone from the radio station. They'll tell you, I was so nervous. I got my heart scan. I got my full body scan. I have 0 blockage and 0 plaque buildup. That's right. My entire heart, I have the arteries of a 20-year-old, including that widowmaker. And now I don't worry anymore. You've heard me talk about all the life insurance coverage I have. The reason I have so much life insurance, and I've got more life insurance than the average person, is because I assumed in my 50s I was going to have a heart attack and be dead, and I wanted to take care of my family. I'm still going to keep the life insurance, okay? And by the way, not only does Life Imaging FLA do heart scans, they can detect heart disease and even some cancers before you show any symptoms. And I have no cancer, no nothing. And they have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County, Miami-Dade County. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan right now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. Pick up your cell phone and call pound 250 and say free heart scan. That's pound 250 and then just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in a few seconds. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. And get peace of mind like I've done, or find out that, hey, you got a ticking time bomb you got to take care of. But let me tell you, I walked out of that office, and not only am I feeling great because I don't have to worry, but my wife, my daughter, my whole family are so happy now because everyone in the family, even my mother, all thought I was just going to have a heart attack any day. Everybody expected to get the call that I had a heart attack. That's why my wife is always taking my blood pressure when I get off the air, because she's worried about my heart. And now, I don't have any worries anymore. Again, pick up your cell phone, call pound 250, say free heart scan. That's pound 250, and just say free heart scan. Get peace of mind, or find out about something that you need to take care of. We'll be right back. I'll take the calls when we get back from the break. But I got to tell you guys, whew, what a relief that was. I was always worried about that. I've talked about having high cholesterol, but I never gave you guys the number, like 300. Can you imagine? Could you imagine? But now, I've got no worries. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll take the calls after the break. We'll be back shortly. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. Okay. Well, I got to check a couple things here. Hold on, guys. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Guys. We're back in about a minute. All right, stand by. Okay, less than 30 seconds. We'll be back. All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice.
Hello, Brian.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is a winner. Yeah, go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I was just wondering if you're a nationalist.
I don't know what you mean by that.
As in pro-state?
Pro what?
Are you pro-state?
I don't know what that second word is.
State, as in favor of the state, pro-state.
Well, you're trying so hard to disguise your voice that it's hard. I know it's hard for you to speak.
This is just my voice.
No, it's...
I got punched in the throat.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure. So I don't understand what you're asking. Pro-state. I don't know what that means. What state?
Are you in favor of the state?
Just ask your damn question. I don't understand what you're asking.
Are you a nationalist, as in pro-state?
I don't understand what you're...
In favor of the state?
I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm asking if you're a nationalist.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, but you're not...
You don't know what a nationalist is?
I don't know what you don't know what a nationalist is?
Are you in favor of the state or not?
How many times are you going to ask this question? I'm not going to answer your question.
Are you pro-state or anti-state?
I am pro-interesting caller and anti-boring caller. And you are boring.
Well,
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Paul from Kissimmee.
Hey, Paul. What's on your mind?
I was going to talk about that Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
He actually did it. He actually did an interview, and he did say that he didn't want to do any concerts in the U.S.
Except this one.
Talking bad about ICE.
Yeah, except this one, the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Roger Goodell, who's the chairman, I guess, of the NFL, which he obviously hates America. He hired Jay-Z's company, and they're the ones who pick who's going to do the halftime show.
Yeah, but they have ultimate, they have ultimate control on who does the show. So if the NFL didn't want this guy there, but saying that you're going to boycott the halftime doesn't cut it. That's not that's BS.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know what this hate America. I mean, Super Bowl. I mean, the football is supposed to be America's big sport, and they just keep poking us right in the eye.
I know.
And I don't know why. I don't know, but a lot of it has to do with that Roger Goodell. I think he's a big lefty, and he.
His wife used to be on Fox years ago, Jane Skinner. She was a Fox anchor in the afternoons many years ago when Shepard Smith was there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've been married. They were married when she was on Fox. Yeah, no, he's obviously a liberal. But, I mean, how many times are we going to let the NFL say F you to us?
I know, and I don't get the owners of all these teams why they just – I think they vote him in or decide who the chair. I don't know why they don't get rid of that guy.
It's really
like he does more harm than good.
They overcame the take a knee BLM crap, and they were forgiven by the fans for that, and that's kind of been forgotten. And then they pull this. A lot of times I'll tell you what they tell themselves. They tell themselves two things: we're going to get $1 billion in free publicity because everyone's going to be talking about it. And then second, they say, you know what? They're so addicted to their football, no matter what they say, they're going to watch anyway. So what do they? So they figure there's no threat. But I give you now. This is away from football. One of my favorite movie is Heat. I love that movie, Heat.
Right.
And
Good movie.
I have seen Heat probably 30 or 40 times. And they had a new director's cut that had 30 minutes in it that had been edited out of the theatrical release that I'd never seen before. And I tried to watch it a couple months ago. I couldn't get through it because of the ugliness of Robert De Niro about President Trump. I just couldn't get into it. And I love Val Kilmer. I love that movie. But I can't watch it anymore. And it really burns me. They're talking about a sequel.
Well, I think you're right, though. I mean, they obviously think they can't lose by doing this stuff. Because why would you do stuff that really a majority of America doesn't like?
Yeah.
And then you pick a guy who does it. He hasn't done, I guess this guy hasn't done one song in English. So you're going to have a Spanish singing guy in America. You know what I mean? One of the biggest.
More often than not, I'm not a big fan of who they pick to play in the Super Bowl. Their Super Bowl selections suck most of the time.
Yeah, they've sucked for the last decade for sure.
Well, some of that could just be as you get older, your music tastes change. All right, appreciate the call though. Take care from Kissimmee. I'll take another call or two before the break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name's Doug. I'm calling from Phoenix.
Hey, Doug. What's up?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
I posted this in the chat quite a few times, and I'm not getting an answer. It's the thing that was touted a lot before January 1st of this year are grocery prices. Donald Trump promised us that grocery prices will go down.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go down a lot. So when is that going to happen?
Grocery prices have gone down. Eggs have gone down almost 90%. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me finish.
Which grocery? Hey, wait a minute. You're now this is pretty common with MAGA. You guys shout a statistic that grocery prices are going down.
Well, I see it when I go to the store.
What index are you referring to?
The index of my grocery bill at checkout. That's my index.
Okay, and this is why we can't have this is why most people.
Well, when you say index,
you ignore the facts.
Hold on. When you
ignore the facts.
Well, hold on. I'm trying to speak here. When you say index, what does that mean? You say, what index are you using? What do you mean by that?
National index. What national index are you using?
When it comes to prices of groceries, I don't use a national index. I use my grocery bill, and this is my experience.
And your grocery bill's gone way down, right?
It's gone down.
Your grocery bill's gone way down?
Now I don't know if most people do what I do, okay? But when I go to the grocery store, I buy pretty much the same stuff every time, right? And prices on everything have gone down a couple of dollars. Yeah.
Okay.
On each
item. I don't think this is reality, Brian. Brian, I don't think you're living in reality.
Well,
I don't think
how are you in reality when you tell me that you go by national indexes as opposed to your grocery bill at the checkout?
Oh, I know. I go by my grocery bill. I know what I spend. But I'm just wondering, you're on the air broadcasting something, and I'm wanting to know what facts you use instead of
the
your
facts
own
I use are
budget.
Well, what am I supposed to use? I go to the grocery store and I buy stuff, and everything's $1 or $2 cheaper.
Oh, well, name one thing that's $1 or $2 cheaper since January.
My Twizzler, one of my biggest things. There's two vices I have, big ones. Okay, Twizzlers and jelly beans. And they both have gone down $1 to $2, depending on what size I buy. Egg prices have dropped tremendously. There's another thing I buy.
This is a lie. Egg
no, it's not.
Dropped dramatically.
Yes, since Trump came in.
You don't tell me where. Okay, what store?
Publix.
Was
I go to Publix. I go to Publix, which is the big Florida grocery chain.
And you're saying they're a couple dollars cheaper. A dozen eggs are $1 or $2 cheaper since January.
The egg prices are down like almost 90% from what they were at their high. Yeah.
90%.
Now you might, but as a liberal, you might buy. But I just buy the regular eggs. I don't buy those liberal cruelty-free farm eggs. Okay, I just buy the cheapest
Brian,
ones.
Thank you very much for taking my call. I don't know. I wish we could talk this out, but we can't. You're spewing lies about grocery prices.
I'm telling you my experience. I'll tell you another thing where I've seen the price come down is when I go to Publix, I buy the fried chicken, and that's pre-made. That they sell, that's gone down in price. I know last time I went.
Maybe during a bird flu, the prices do go down. You're right.
The chicken prices went down.
Let's talk about steak prices. You're telling me
I haven't bought steak. I haven't bought steak at Publix. I haven't bought steak.
Okay. Well, you're mentioning things that go down during a bird
I'm
flu.
I'm only mentioning the things that I buy. Right? I buy Twizzlers. I buy jelly beans. I buy Coke and Pepsi. I buy eggs, okay? I buy rotisserie chicken. I buy fried chicken. I buy apples and oranges, and everything that I buy has gone down a little bit.
Okay, so let me point out one of those groceries, Coke. You're telling me Coke has dropped down in price. Soda has dropped down in price since January 1st.
Depending on what, a little bit.
Okay, first it was $1 or $2 or a lot.
It depends on what the item is. It depends on what the item is. But everything has gone down a little bit that I buy.
Yeah. Okay. That is not true. I mean, things don't go down. Maybe that you buy. Okay, what you're saying. Okay, what you buy, things are going down a little bit now. Now that's what you're saying. It was a lot 5 minutes ago. Now the things that you buy are going down.
No, I didn't say a lot. I said depending on the item, things have gone down $1 or $2 here and there, and it adds up. I'm sorry. It's true.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I tried. I'm sorry that I tried. I knew this going in that us having a rational conversation about grocery prices.
Well, I'm sorry we disagree. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Snowflake.
Brian, I'll let you talk. Brian,
I'm sorry, Snowflake.
Can I talk?
No, I got to take a break. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We're late for the break. We'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take calls after the break. We'll be back shortly, guys. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. There is one opening on the board. But it depends on what you buy. You know what I mean? We'll be back in about a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay, less than 30 seconds. We'll be back. I'll go back to the phones. Don't worry. You know, these liberals, they just can't handle you disagreeing with them. They just, you know. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We have one opening on the board. You know, one thing, if you notice with these younger callers, Gen Z, the younger millennials, they cannot handle disagreement, can they? That they're the participation trophy generation. They've been coddled with these helicopter parents who tell them what they want to hear and never challenge them or correct them, and they deal with someone who disagrees with them, and they have meltdowns. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? My name's Ben. I'm calling from Reno, Nevada.
Hey, Ben, what's up? Oh, hold on. Let me answer these lines. My phones are just ringing off the hook. All right, Ben, you're on. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just was calling. I was listening to the last conversation with the other gentleman there, and I'm over here in Reno and in Nevada. I'm calling because I heard the grocery conversation, and Trump was, he definitely was on the groceries and stuff, and I just heard him talking about indexes and stuff like that, and you're talking about your grocery list.
Yes, well, yeah, real life stuff, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I just was wondering, like, you mentioned that you get the same stuff every time.
Pretty much.
Do you ever, like, get extra stuff and stuff like that, or, like, is it usually just the same stuff?
What do you mean extra stuff?
Yeah, like, like if you have a special event at your house, like, you'd spend extra on that, right?
If I had a special event at my house, yeah, sure, I'd buy a birthday cake or something for somebody, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like people think that, like, you can't buy these things anymore, and it's like, yeah, you can. You just have to plan when you're going to buy them and stuff like that.
Listen, prices, President Trump, first of all, it's a total mischaracterization of what Trump said. President Trump said that once prices are up, it's, this was before the election, by the way. He gave an interview, and he said excuse me, I'm speaking. He said this was before the election.
I live in a food desert. The prices aren't the problem. The prices aren't the problem. The people are the problem. They don't know how to foot the bill.
Okay, whatever.
It's a bunch of lazy Americans.
I'm not going to disagree with that. But President Trump said once prices are up, it's very difficult to bring them down. He says, I'll do what I can do. That was before the election. He didn't say I'm going to bring the grocery prices way down. He never said that. They characterized him as saying that.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't. He said he was going to do something on day one, but it wasn't the grocery prices or prices in general. Now, I guess what I'm wondering next is, you guys were talking about the halftime show. I'm like kind of new to the whole like politics scene, and I'm wondering, like, why are these halftime shows? It seems like every year there's a different artist at the halftime show, and it's either like a win or a loss for Republicans. All the while, the other side, they just don't really seem to care. Is that, is that something that maybe I'm not looking at it, the right angle?
Well, no, what happens, listen, when you talk about, not always, but most of the time at the Super Bowl, they want to have someone who is popular. So whenever you have a popular musician, typically they're going to be liberal because they're stupid. They're entertainers, and they're stupid, uneducated. So typically they're going to be liberal. But with this Bad Bunny, this is different. Right now, throughout the,
help me out.
I'm trying to tell you the problem.
Yeah, who did we have last year?
I don't remember. It's not. But we're talking about this year. And right now, across this country, Democrats are attacking physically ICE agents and trying to kill them. There was a shooting last week in Dallas at an ICE station. At ICE agents, they shot migrants.
They shot the migrants.
Yeah, the guy. Yeah, but that's not who he was aiming at. That's not who he was aiming at. There's been attacks.
He made a confession about who he was.
No, he's dead. He's dead. But we have his information. He was attacking ICE.
Was that the guy with the pictures with the duck hunting?
It was the guy that had the kill ICE on his bullets. Okay.
No. I was thinking the guy with the Trump shirt. That was the guy who drove into the church.
No, that's not who. I'm not talking about the church guy. I'm talking about the guy that attacked ICE. I'm trying to speak. You've got listen. Slow down for a second.
My white guys.
It's not that you're confused. You just excuse me. You're on hold. You don't know how to have a phone conversation like many of your generation because you don't use the phone for conversing. Okay, so you don't know how to have a real conversation. Oh, he hung up. Okay. ICE is under attack, very violent attacks throughout this country. And to put up on national television at the Super Bowl someone who's advocating against ICE that's under attack, literally being shot at and attacked, having rocks and bricks thrown at them, is irresponsible, and it should piss people off. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Mark from New York. How you doing today?
All right, Mark.
Hey, the more I listen to you, the more I realize I owe Trump an apology, I think. Because, I don't blame him anymore because it's people like you around him that make him look like an idiot.
Mm.
So people like you tell him gas or grocery prices are down, And then he goes out and tells people, and everyone's like, where? Because no one's seen their grocery prices going down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your listeners listening to you know they're not going down, but they're going to be like, maybe he's right. Maybe Publix, which, by the way, has higher prices than most places.
Correct.
In the United States.
Yes. It's a higher price grocery store, no doubt about it.
So, and prices are not going down. I'm sure you eat meat. And you got to know that. I mean, sure, maybe your wife doesn't tell you what prices are because maybe you guys are just very wealthy and it doesn't matter to you. But to the rest of America, prices are going up.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see it at grocery stores. I go grocery shopping with my wife.
Yeah.
And meat is absolutely through the roof. It's astonishing that Donald Trump doesn't seem to care about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, my wife and I, like I say, we are. My daughter's grown. She's 26 years old. It's just my wife and I. So most of what we do is eat out, okay? We eat out a lot. But we do buy some things at home. We don't cook too much at home. But what I'm telling you is the things that I buy: milk, pre-made fried chicken, rotisserie chicken, Twizzlers, jelly beans, potato chips, and eggs and such, okay? Each thing has gone down a little bit at Publix. And from the things I buy, that's what I'm telling you. I'm sorry that my experience is not what yours is. But I don't live in some liberal hack state that taxes you through the wazoo like New York, like you do.
Yeah, but our taxes have remained steady, so it's not like they're going up.
President Trump just gave us a massive the president just gave us what may well be the largest tax cut in history in the big, beautiful bill.
Okay. No, maybe the prices, maybe they haven't caught up with that, but because my taxes haven't gone down yet. And not only that, like my federal taxes haven't gone down, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, President Trump can't help you with those Democrats' state income taxes. We don't have state income tax in Florida. That's a state issue, not Trump. So you got to talk to Governor Hochul and Zohan about his city tax and all that crap. The Trump tax the Trump tax cuts were going to expire. Not only did he extend them, he made most of them permanent in the big, beautiful bill. He gave the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, gave a massive tax deduction to those that are on Social Security. It was a massive tax cut he gave. Massive. If it weren't for the big, beautiful bill, your taxes would be going up when you did your taxes for this year.
I won't know until I file my taxes.
Well, then you're uninformed. I know now. I had, I had to pay. I had to send money in for taxes just last week. Believe me, it was not a little bit of money. It was a big
no tax on overtime wasn't actually a reduction of tax on overtime. It was a deduction on your taxes. So
it was no tax on tips. And no tax on overtime. That's new. Up to a certain point. I don't know what the point is. I don't work hourly. But the no tax on overtime, no tax on tips.
You should look it up because that's not how that works. It's a deduction. I still pay the exact same amount.
Well, whatever. You're still, but you're then you get. Listen, you're in a high tax state of New York where they have state income tax and all that crap. We don't have state income tax in Florida.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So you can't complain about. All right, appreciate the call. You can't complain about those state taxes. Okay, that's outside of the realm of the president. I'm sorry. See how triggered they are? Trump does good and they're triggered. By the way, you can take zero deductions. All these Democrats, I promise you, including Bad Bunny, take the Trump tax cuts. I promise you. Oh, if you want to save money, Friendly Tire in Margate. I was telling you guys yesterday, Steve's wife called me on Friday. She was getting her car tuned up at the dealer, her Toyota Highlander. And they gave her a price on tires, which was insanely high. And she said, do you think that I could get them at a better price at Friendly Tire? I said, no doubt about that. I said, hey, listen, I'm pulling up to Friendly Tire. I'll call you back in a minute. I'll get the price. Friendly Mike, his price for new tires on Steve Kane's wife's car, their Toyota Highlander, right? She can get 4 new tires at Friendly Tire for less than what they were charging for 2 at the dealer. That's right. Give Friendly Mike a call. Brand new tires out the door and on the road. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. All right, stand by, guys. We'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, at the end. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go back to the phones when we get back. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, what is your experience in the chat with grocery prices? You know, my daughter, she tells me she goes to Trader Joe's, and the prices at Trader Joe's are like so low. All right, hold 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It is Tuesday already. Back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Anthony.
Yep. Go ahead. Oh, boy.
Spoke Mouth Hill Satan.
Okay. All right. Whatever. You're on the air. What's your name? Maybe I think we should hit the dump mic. Yeah, I think let's hit the dump and let's let the delay rebuild. I couldn't understand those mumbles while we're waiting for the delay to rebuild. You hear these leftists? I mean, I'm sorry that my experience isn't what your experience is. And you call me, you know, I live in Florida. We're a low tax state. Not only do we not have a state income tax, okay, it's against the Florida state constitution to have a state income tax. You know, so if you're in one of these liberal states, everything is taxed so much more, everything costs more. That's why my daughter moved back from California to Florida, because things are so much cheaper here in the state of Florida because we're a low tax state. And now they're talking about doing away with property tax. So it's difficult to play the price war game with someone from New York or some other blue state because you're in a high tax state. And you heard what this idiot that I talked to before the break said. Well, my state income taxes haven't gone down. Well, what's Trump supposed to do about that? Stop voting Democrats, stupid. You know, they're complaining about taxes and prices. They're going to put Zohan in. So, you know, prices on things are lower in Florida because we're a low tax state. I'm sorry. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, these people apparently aren't paying attention too well. You know, oil was at $86 a gallon, and now a barrel, whatever it was, and now it's 62.
Yeah.
So gas prices have come down, way down. A lot of some groceries still haven't gone down, but eggs have gone down, and cereal has come down. A lot of stuff has come down. You know, I mean, it's not a cure 100%, but it's certainly a great improvement compared to the way it was.
Exactly.
So, you know, people aren't waking up. And Chuck Schumer and his Hakeem Jeffries, man, as President Trump are two buttes. I don't know. I've been saying for a long time, I'm a New Yorker, how anybody ever votes for Chuck Schumer? This guy should have been thrown out years ago.
No doubt.
They still vote for him. Yeah, man. I mean, he says, oh, everything Trump is doing is not right, but yet it's okay for FBI to be in the crowd as crowd control. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
This guy comes up with the weirdest things, and he plans everything just to say something, just to be nasty.
Yeah.
I'd be glad to see.
Well, he's gonna lose this one. He's gonna lose this one, and he looks stupid right now. But he's too arrogant to know it. That's his problem. He's too arrogant to know it.
Yeah, but then again, New York is a bunch of crazy people.
Yeah, the people that are calling me about prices are in blue states where they have higher taxes at the state level that we just don't have in Florida. Florida's the best state to live in. We've got great weather and low taxes, and that affects the price of things.
Without a doubt, that certainly is the blue states. I think that everything is supposed to be government.
I really noticed this with my daughter because she's, I guess it's been about 6 months now. She moved back to Florida from California, and she shops. I was just talking to my daughter about this on Saturday. She went to church with me, and she shops at She shops at Trader Joe's. She shopped at the same grocery stores here that she shopped at in California. And she tells me how much lower the prices are here. She says it's unbelievable how low the prices are here compared to California. It's because we're a low-tax state. They don't have the minimum wage for the workers as high as they have in these blue states, so the prices, there's a lot of things that factor in. If you're in a blue state, the prices are always going to be higher because the minimum wage is higher, the taxes are higher. There's all kinds of things that we don't experience in Florida.
Rents are probably a lot higher too, I would imagine.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Everything is high.
My daughter feels like she's living for free now. Things are so much cheaper here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to learn your lesson. I mean, first of all, California. I know some people went to California and said they couldn't stand it there. It's just the people are just a little weird.
What I find about Los Angeles is how dumpy most of it is. You would think all these green environmentalists, it would be pristine and clean everywhere, but it's so much of it's a dump.
Yeah, this is because they don't want to do anything. They just want to give the money to the illegals.
That's
whatever.
Right. That's right.
And the last thing I say before I go is I'm not watching the Super Bowl. They can forget it.
But would you watch it anyway? Would you normally watch it?
I normally watch it.
You normally watch
the Super Bowl,
okay.
But not now, man.
So it'll be you and me. Okay, you and me, two-man boycott. Maybe I'll do like a live stream on YouTube during the game, and then we can do our boycott by watching me. We'll see. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Louise, the mask lady in Boca.
Hey, Louise.
Well, I'm a Republican, and I agree with that gentleman. Everything is sky high.
Okay.
And restaurants have doubled.
Well, we're not talking about. I agree with you about the. I agree with you about the restaurants. Okay.
And what about health insurance?
Well, let me ask you this. Okay. What is President Trump supposed to do about the price of restaurant food?
Well, forget the restaurants because I don't even
okay.
know anymore.
Well, then tell me about the grocery store. How can President? We don't care about your health insurance. Okay.
No, I don't think it's his part. I don't think it's his fault. I think people are just gouging, but I don't know how there's no one to control the gouging.
I don't know what you mean by restaurant prices. Restaurant prices have gone up. The restaurants. Excuse me. The restaurants have not. Excuse me. Restaurant prices you can't compare to the grocery store. At Publix at Publix and Walmart, prices have gone down a little bit.
No, the Walmart, everything has doubled, especially things that were bought from China. They actually have doubled.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
What about my health insurance? I don't know how seniors are going to live anymore.
It's called Medicare. All right, appreciate the call. Oh my goodness, it's amazing what one call can do. Oh, let me talk about the Sloman's Shield Link. The Sloman Shield Link is absolutely amazing. It's an all-in-one ecosystem that integrates all of your smart devices at home with the Sloman's Shield, which we talk about a lot. The Sloman Shield Link takes your everyday routines and actions based on your preference and connects all the devices to react based on your actions. For example, you get home at night, your lights come on before you get there, your music's on, your TV's on, right as you enter the home. The Shield Link can act on almost any scenario, create scenarios based on what you want to happen, whether you want your thermostat to turn down when you turn your alarm on, or automatically lock your doors to ensure that your security lighting is on. These scenarios are easy as that. They have 24/7 support too, so if you want to add any devices in the middle of the night, even on the weekend, they're always there for you. Give them a call, 833-283-5050. Oh yeah, it works on the devices you already have in your home. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. All right, let me check the time. Do I have time for another call? Yeah, I'll take another call before we break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
Russ.
Yep. What's up, Russ?
Hey, Brian. I've been watching you for a long time, and I've never called in before. But I guess you were talking about that Bad Bunny.
Yep.
That's going to be. This is all just a control thing from the powers that be. I mean, you used to have legends come out there for every halftime show.
Well, as you get older, this is what I've learned about music, okay? When I was in high school and in my 20s, I thought I was always going to be hip to the latest music because I was at the time. And as you get older, that's just not the case for the most part. So our legends are not the youngins' legends. You know what I mean?
But I think this is more than that. This is a guy that's being out there in dresses and things like that.
No, this is an FU. This is Roger Goodall. This is an FU.
Well, what I'm saying is, the people that I don't know if you've ever watched, Patrick Bet David.
I've got to run. I got to run for the break. But I appreciate the call. All right, we're up against the break. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take some more calls, and I got to bring up some other issues after the top of the hour because a lot of big things have gone down. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, back right after this. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. All right, I'll take a call or two during the break because we've got a little time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm calling from California.
All right, Sarah, what's up?
So I know we kind of beat the dead horse when it comes to talking about the Super Bowl halftime show, but I just wanted to kind of bring light to the fact of who's sponsoring the Super Bowl halftime, which is Apple. And I think that has is a big factor in who they chose because of the products that they just released.
Which product? Which product release?
The AirPods Pro 3 has that auto translation. And so I think you can kind of directly tie.
I have the original AirPods Plus, the big one, which are really nice headphones, but the new ones translate foreign languages.
They do in real time, and that's like the
like
big
in conversation
marketing piece. Yeah, conversation, music. Supposedly, I haven't tried it yet.
Oh my goodness!
I think obviously in every aspect of life, you kind of follow the money, right?
I'm glad you called because we're going to be back on the air in about a minute. We're on YouTube right now, but we're in a radio station break, and I'm going to open with that. And it's so interesting how a little tiny thing like that. I usually follow all the Apple releases, and I didn't this time. Here I am.
Yeah.
I'm live streaming on my Mac, wearing my Apple Watch, and I'm looking at the clock on my iPhone. So and it's a big manipulation. What? It's the Apple Pro Max.
It's the Apple Pro AirPods.
The Max. Okay, the Apple Max AirPods. Okay.
Or Apple AirPods Pro 3. I think is what it is.
The Pro 3. Okay. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's a pretty good thing. So you could like wear those like in another country, and you could understand the person talking to you.
Supposedly, like I said, I have not tried it yet, so
that's amazing. That's amazing. All right, I appreciate that. All right, take care. Appreciate the intel. Did you guys hear that? That's amazing. Boy, that changes everything. Let me look that up. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I tell you, I learned during the break something that's absolutely fascinating. Okay, we're getting the pieces to the puzzle put together. So earlier, I was talking about, like everybody else, this Bad Bunny performance. So Bad Bunny, who is the halftime performer at the Super Bowl, and all this controversy, during the break, one of our listeners called and told me what this is really all about, and she was so right on the money, and I'm going to share it with you. Okay, so just to recap, Bad Bunny is a controversial figure. Okay, is a controversial figure because they're so anti-ICE. Plus, I keep seeing these videos and pictures of Bad Bunny. Like, is Bad Bunny transgender? Because I keep seeing pictures of Bad Bunny in ladies' fancy dresses and breast and everything else going on. It's very strange. And a lot of people saying, and they don't even sing in English. It's all in Spanish. Why are they doing this? Well, I get a call from someone during the break who put it all together. What is the real reason Bad Bunny's performing? Now, it's irresponsible to have an anti-ICE person like this performing when ICE officers are under attack, especially after Dallas, what happened in L.A. But this is what the person told me during the break, that Apple is sponsoring the halftime show. And the latest Apple headphones that are just releasing have supposedly have translation capabilities in real time. Meaning that if you have them on, you could have a conversation with someone, no matter what languages you're speaking. So if you and the person you're speaking with both have the new Apple headphones on, they're speaking Arabic, and you're speaking Swahili, you'll be able to have a conversation with each other. Yeah, it's the Pro 3. And I don't have these Pro 3s, but I have those the first generation of those big new headphones. And the noise cancellation is spectacular. They're amazing. I use them all the time. But it makes sense for them to, because of the Apple headphones, to have someone that sings in another language to promote the headphones. So that's probably the real reason they're there, is because of Apple and these new headphones with the translation capability. I would say the timing is poor and it's in bad taste. It doesn't change the facts, and the facts are the facts, that it's irresponsible with this era that is going on to have an anti-ICE person singing at the Super Bowl, especially after Dallas. Well, anyway, that puts some perspective on what is going on. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about a couple of other things. I want to hear your thoughts on this, by the way. And I might upgrade. Can I trade in my old headphones towards the new ones? Because I failed Spanish in high school. And I remember my Spanish teacher in high school said, I'm never going to go to college and graduate college because of the foreign language requirement. Well, that wasn't true. I barely got through college because of the foreign language requirement. In fact, the last course I took in college was Spanish 1102. You have to take 2 semesters of a foreign language to get your bachelor's degree in what I was getting my degree in history. And I as much as I would like to get my graduate degree in history, but I don't do it for 2 reasons. One is, since I'm not going to teach, what's the point? Right? And graduate degree is expensive. But to get a graduate degree, a master's, and then a PhD in history, you have to become fluent in a foreign language. And when it comes to foreign languages, I have like a learning disability. In college, because it was a requirement, I first switched. I tell you guys, I have a double major in history and education. The reason that is the education major doesn't require the foreign language requirement. But so I was doing that because I thought, well, this will be my way. But then you have to do a semester of student teaching for the education degree. So I couldn't take a semester off work and be a student teacher for free. I got a family, and a good career. So I switched to history. That's why I have a double major. And I took everything. I took Spanish countless times. I took German. I took French multiple times each. And I would drop them before the drop date, and I barely got through it. And luckily, I had taken Spanish, did not have a comprehensive final. It was just a weekly quiz for that week's stuff, for 1101 and 1102. And after taking it more times than I can remember, I could get through the quiz each week, right? And and now with these new Apple headphones, all that was a waste. Who needs any of that? Right? I could just get the new Apple headphones and walk around and have a conversation. It's like in Star Trek. I've got the translator on my head. I know there's apps that do this now, but when I was in college, we didn't have apps. Right? It was a long time ago. So it's, boy, oh boy. So that explains everything with the Ice Bunny. No, that's interesting. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I know it's Bad Bunny, but I'm calling them Ice Bunny. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Nice Bunny. I like your...
Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. We're doing very well in the first hour. The second hour, the call quality has gone down a little bit, but that's okay. If you're on hold, stand by. There's a couple other things I want to cover here on the program, and then we'll take our break. And there's so much has happened. Okay, there were some big updates on the assassination of Charlie Kirk yesterday. A couple things. Number one, this assassin has gotten a top-tier defense team. I'm curious about the story behind that. And the judge said this is going to be like this trial is going to be televised, and it looks to be moving at a proper pace, but I don't know how they got this high-priced legal team. I don't know if the deep state sent them over or what. But someone from Turning Point USA made some comments yesterday. Candace Owens and other conservatives have come up with more conspiracy theories around the assassination of Charlie Kirk than you can imagine. And you've heard some of them call. First, there was, and Candace Owens is the leader of this, but there's others. First, they were blaming Israel. Israel did it. Then they were talking about a second gunman. Then they were talking about, and I've heard calls about this on the air. And by the way, I do agree there was a wider conspiracy to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I believe this that the shooter who actually did do it unknowingly is a patsy for some greater organization, like with the Kennedy assassinations and stuff. I've talked about that, but I don't want to get sidetracked. Then they had, let's see, first these conspiracy people blamed Israel. Then they were talking about a second gunman, and they have different aspects on that. Then, and you've heard the calls about these, then there were the people who were saying, I got 2 calls about this yesterday. His microphone had an explosive device in it. Back to blaming Israel. It was like from the beeper bombs, but they put it in his microphone, and it was a detonation. That's what killed him. And then Candace Owens had another thing she was promoting this week, that there were Charlie Kirk had learned about financial irregularities at Turning Point USA and was establishing his own internal Doge to find out where the money was going, and that triggered this, which I guess she's implying that Turning Point USA, some people there were behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I mean, come on. I mean, it's getting stupid. But what someone from Turning Point pointed out yesterday, and this is so true, and it's, now that we see who his lawyers are, he's got high-priced lawyers. And I don't know if it's pro bono or if some outside people are paying them, but they're big-time lawyers that he's got. And what they were saying yesterday is Candace Owens and these other lunatics, the death penalty is off the table now. They have created, through their selfish need for views and relevancy and clicks and all of this stuff, they've created so much reasonable doubt with all these made-up theories, and I'm sure there's more other than the ones that I just mentioned, that they've given reasonable doubt now in the Charlie Kirk assassin murder trial. And Candace Owens should be ashamed of herself, because she's the one that is giving the defense the reasonable doubt argument that they're going to use to get the death penalty off the table for this monster. We'll take our first break of the second hour and be right back. I mean, come on. Isn't that awful? And I really didn't think about it too much. But they are doing so much damage with these things. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Wellington.
Hey, Vince. What's up?
Yeah, it's just crazy with Candace Owens lately. I can't even follow her the way I used to at all. I mean, not that I really followed her 100% anyway, but the craziest thing is that she's shadowing doubt on the people that are going to be in the trial. I mean, everybody has so much information at their hands now. It's not good for you to come out and say anything against anything. Let the investigation go through. You can throw out possibilities, but I mean, the reality is it is what it is. I'm not exactly happy with the way that the investigation was kind of being transparently
but
presented.
Basically what they're saying now is Candace Owens and these conspiracy hacks that are conservatives are basically working for the defense of the assassin.
I mean, not even just that, though, Brian. I mean, it's a scary thought that
Listen, we're coming back. We're in a break, so we're coming back in 20 seconds. But I want to carry you through the break after the break. So hang in there, okay? So hang in there. Cool. We got 20 seconds.
All right.
Oh man, yeah, I know it's disgusting what they're doing. It's just disgusting.
I mean,
yeah. Hold on. We're coming back in 10 seconds. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Yeah, so Vincent Wellington online. We were talking. What I was talking about before the break, and this is a double tragedy. We have these conservatives, Candace Owens, who they're working for the defense, crafting the reasonable doubt argument and giving credibility to it by claiming to have experts and whistleblowers, giving them information and hiding behind, we're journalists, we don't have to reveal our sources. And Candace Owens is helping Charlie Kirk's assassin, his legal team, get the death penalty off the table. I'm really upset about it. I really am.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And it's almost like the terror cells of Democrats in this country, they kind of want it to be this way anyway, so they're going to help spread the doubt. They're going to keep her relevant. They're going to push her on all these platforms.
Yep.
And allow Nick Fuentes and all these other people that might throw some shout of doubt on anything.
And, and I got to tell you, that's another thing. A lot of conservatives are having Nick Fuentes on. I don't care what he's really about because I don't listen to him. But the perception of him is not good. The new media is not all that smart. They're all they care about are views and clicks and shares and stuff. And they do things they're giving credibility to this Nick Fuentes, which is really bad news for our movement.
I purposely just watch old clips of Charlie now. I don't try to stay up on the new stuff. That way their view count, even if it's just one person or a couple videos that I would have watched, even if it was interesting, I try to stay away from it to curb these people from doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like spitting on this man's grave. Let him die. Let him rest in peace. And also allow the transparency of what this investigation could be without there being any dysfunction allowed by these people.
And Candace Owens, she's no friend of Charlie Kirk doing what she's doing. Basically working for she could very well find herself as a witness for the defense.
Not even just that, though. I mean, legally, people could sue you over it, in civil court, right? I mean,
no, not really. All right, listen, I'm gonna move on, but no, she very well she could find herself as a witness for the defense. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Not even just that.
You're on the air once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. Okay, now I want to get into a couple of other things. If you're on hold, hang in there. There's a couple of things I want to touch on. President Trump yesterday, he had two big meetings, and both of them ended in the most brilliant way you could possibly imagine. And if you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the phones in a few minutes. The first one was the meeting with Israel, with this 20-point peace plan that he came up with for the Israeli-Gaza war. The Palestinians, they could have written this themselves. This is like the Powerball of peace agreements. The only thing that the Palestinians don't have that they would like is all these perfect things that President Trump offered them. They have to stop killing Jews. And this is such a brilliant strategy by President Trump and Netanyahu, by the way. The deal that they offered, I'm not going to go through the whole deal now, but it's out there. You guys see, it's a perfect deal for the people of Gaza. Perfect. So the question is, are they going to accept it? Netanyahu doesn't think so, but does Trump think they're going to accept it? And, back in the days of Arafat and the PLO and all that stuff, especially during the Clinton times, they were always offering these peace deals to Arafat. He would always turn them down because he didn't want peace. He didn't want peace. He wanted constant conflict and war. So this is going to be a big test for those in Gaza. Do they really want peace, or do they just want to kill Jews? If they want peace, they'll take this deal. It's like an incredible deal. It's a perfect deal. But if they don't take it, Netanyahu's going to wipe them out. So the world is going to find out right now with this if the Palestinians want peace, or do they just want to go down with the ship and martyr themselves forever because they want to kill Jews more than they want to have a perfect life in Gaza. And that was just perfect. And President Trump not taking questions at the end was smart. So that deal, the 20-point plan he offered was fantastic. And we're going to find out right quick whether or not they're going to take it. Then he had, right after that, I don't know how he does it. I can't keep up with him. Right after that, he has this meeting with Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. And Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, they have this losing strategy that they think President Trump is going to pay for health care benefits for illegal aliens. And, of course, it fell apart because what they were asking was so absurd, in fact, illegal, because the big, beautiful bill forbids such things. And they came out to try to accuse Trump of shutting down the government when it's them that's shutting down the government. But then Trump put out this meme that is the most brilliant, funny political satire I have seen in years. And I can't play it on the radio because the language is so bad. It's filled with profanities. But I'm sure you've seen it. Hakeem Jeffries in the Mexican sombrero, and Schumer is talking with this AI-generated speech, telling the whole truth about what the Democrats are really about when it comes to illegals. It's hilarious. Hakeem Jeffries is calling it racist. Schumer's griping. But that meme is perfect satire of the situation and sums up what the Democrats are all about in a way that everyone knows is true. And that video that he posted is devastating to Hakeem Jeffries and to Chuck Schumer. I mean, it's really just a devastating blow to any support they still have left. And so President Trump had these two big events yesterday, the budget meeting with the Democrats and then the Netanyahu meeting, and both of them were with over-the-top brilliant solutions at the end. The 20-point plan and then the meme. I mean, it was a day that President Trump hit the home run out of the park every time. Every bat was a home run. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Good morning, Brian.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Greg. What's up?
Yes, good morning. It's Greg.
Hey, Greg.
I want to make sure I heard this correctly from you because, sometimes you state things that are so off base. You think Candace Owens is going to be called as a witness or could even be called as a witness in a murder trial?
I think it's very possible that she gets called as a witness. Yeah. Because
as a witness to what?
To the defense.
To what?
The defense Now again, this I did not originate this idea. Someone from I can't remember who it was. Somebody from Turning Point put this on social media yesterday. I can't remember who. But it was that these conspiracy theorists, of which she's the leader of, that have come up with these wild, insane conspiracies about the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
They're not going to be called to a murder trial that they have no personal knowledge about.
Okay.
What you're stating is so far
let me finish. What they said is that the Candace Owens and these others are creating reasonable doubt to a level to have the death penalty removed from the table in this case. And Candace Owens, clearly. You may not agree with this, but Candace Owens considers herself a journalist, and she claims to have all these confidential sources that are giving her this information.
So you're stating that you could be called for the state as a witness.
I've been without revealing things. I have been called more than once in the depositions for things that have happened in the course of broadcasting.
In a criminal trial?
I'm not revealing anything. Of
course not, because you have no basis for it. But
it's true, and I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna reveal it.
I hope they're shaking their heads that Candace Owens is that powerful that she's going to manipulate juries. She's going to manipulate the state. She's going to be called in as a witness.
Candace Owens got the First Lady of France to produce some type of photographic evidence that she was born a female, just like a week ago. She's got tremendous amount of juice. The
so
president
she's got
of
a lot more
France.
influence than you. Is that what you're saying?
She's got a lot more influence than most everybody when it comes to things. She was responsible for a meeting between the president of the United States and the president of France about the things she was doing. She stirs the pot. And there's nobody and she's
with me. But you know what? Your show has taken a downward turn for clicks as well. You criticize all these people for clicks. The level of discourse on your show of the conversations has dropped dramatically.
What are you talking about?
Like, what am I talking about? There's callers that call up and say, I haven't even been listening to you, but I want to talk about this. You used to keep
all callers, especially liberal ones, even you've done this from time to time. I joke about this. Everyone claims that they don't listen and they just stumbled upon because they don't want to give you the credibility that they were listening. That's one of the most common. One of the most common
that you're not even talking about.
Well, I will. Let me tell you. Excuse me. The listenership of this program is at a historical high beyond anything I ever projected. Online this month. This is just online, okay, and this does not include my podcast, the radio stations we're on, or the feeds from the radio station. Just on over 3 million people have tuned in online to watch this show in the last 28 days. Over 3 million people, and that doesn't even include our other things.
Congratulations.
So slow down a second. No, I'm not done. I am not done. The reach of the show has grown leaps and bounds. But one of the most
quantity does not equal quality.
Oh, I think the quality our reach is because of the quality.
Because you know why? Because you have algorithms on YouTube.
What you don't like is you don't like the success of this program because you don't like us.
No, I could listen. The success or the downfall doesn't impact my life whatsoever.
All right. Well, then, all right. I got to run for a break because we're so unsuccessful. We got to take commercial breaks. But there's a lot of the listeners, a lot of the liberal listeners, like Greg, have been listening. This is something I run into a lot. Used to have this problem with Richie, but he's gotten over it. But Greg's been listening to the program since I was like a teenager. And he's a liberal, and he's never liked me, and he's been calling for like 25 years or whatever. And a lot of these listeners that hated me when I was a teenager, and now they've seen the success of the show to levels that are just beyond what I ever dreamed, they don't like it, right? So they all of a sudden they want to look out for the show and do things and say, well, all this success you're having, you need to go back to what you were doing when you had a smaller audience. Are you kidding me? I want to ask you this. Are you in pain? Well, that means you haven't taken my advice to go see Dr. Philip Appleton with his laser wave pain treatment. I want to talk about the laser for a moment because you guys have heard me talk many times about how it rids you of all these different types of pains. What the laser does is actually repair the damage in your body that is causing you the pain. I remember when I went in for one of my shoulder injuries, I did not know it was my shoulder that was injured. I had this pain in my hand. This was not the arthritis. I had this pain in my hand that was so bad I was in tears. And Dr. Appleton examined me, and he said, the pain's coming from here in your shoulder, Brian. I said, Doc, the pain's in my hand. I'm like, he says, I'm going to treat you right here. He treated me with the laser on the shoulder. I felt relief as I was walking out of the office into my car after that first treatment. I was feeling better already. With the laser, Dr. Appleton, he's so good at what he does. He is able to determine exactly where in your body the pain is coming from. And that's where he treats you with the laser. I was blown away by it. That pain was in my hand. Well, I'm not the doctor. Dr. Appleton is, right? And and all these 7 times the pain hasn't returned because the laser repairs the damage that's causing the pain. The pain is your body telling you something's broken, something's not right. The laser repairs that damage. It's amazing. And it's not just any old laser. It's a robotic laser. It moves. So when Dr. Appleton's treating a part of my body, like he's treating my shoulder, it's not just focused in on this one spot on top. It's treating the side, the top, the back. It moves all around the area, the laser, because it's robotic, treating the whole area. So I got, say it's the spot, you can't see on the radio, but I've got my finger right here. The laser moves around to the top of that spot, the side of that spot, behind that spot, and treats it all around, repairs the damage, boom, the pain's gone, it hasn't returned because the problem has been fixed. It is amazing. Do what I've done. Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain too. This is why we've had listeners travel from all over the United States. See, this is one of the things that Greg doesn't like. We're a national program now. He doesn't like that. He wants us to be on little tiny audience, little tiny place, But we've had listeners travel from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. He is that good, and he performs all the laser treatments himself. If you have x-rays or scans, bring them with you. Appointments are not necessary, but that doesn't mean you can't make them. You can make an appointment, although walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. If you're coming from out of town or out of state, you might want to make an appointment. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. Oops. See, I'm having all kinds of problems today. All kinds of problems. Now, guys, I've been telling you that Mike Lindell has been supporting the expansion of the show, the 4 hours, the afternoon show, the weekends, continuing the show during the breaks like I've been doing. And this is the first month he's done it. So I'm going to be having a meeting with them in a day or two, and they're going to tell me how the performance was. So it's important. Go today, go to mypillow.com, and take advantage of the big discounts with our promo code Kane, of course. You got to use our promo code Kane, and let Mike Lindell know that his support of the expansion that we've done is well worth the investment.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, yes, and I spilled some coffee on my desk right as the show was starting. I cleaned it up with my pillow towel. Okay, we will be back in about a minute. So I'll wait till we get back from the break to take a call. So if you're on hold, stand by. Oh, my goodness. Greg's out of his mind. So Greg thinks that we should go back to having a small audience instead of a large audience. That somehow that's better. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Sometimes what happens with some of the longtime liberal listeners like that, because of the expansion of the audience, their calls don't stand out as much. So they feel that their star is not shining as bright as it once did. So they don't like that we get all these calls from around America or the world. Yeah, please. I'm going to be meeting with them tomorrow or then by Friday, and they're going to give me a report of the first month. So promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, all right, at mypillow.com. All right, stand by, 10 seconds. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Daniel, this is Chad from Nebraska.
All right, what's on your mind?
I've been talking about that Charlie Kirk.
Well, 1 second here. I'm going to answer these lines that are coming in. Yeah, that Charlie Kirk. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, hold on. Did I lose you? All right. Are you there? What's your name?
I am.
Okay, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Jeff from Jacksonville.
Hey, Jacksonville.
Hey, are we discussing the Democrats and the Republicans holding up the shutdown of the government?
That's one of the topics that I've discussed this morning. Yes, the Democrats shutting down the government unless we pay for health care for illegals.
Shutting down.
Correct.
Okay. Well, my opinion is that the Republicans are stalling, on any going forward because they don't want the 218th vote coming in to release Epstein files.
One of you guys, here's the Democrats' tactic. Anytime they lose, they mention Epstein. Like HAKEEM Jeffries, this lowbrow guy that, did you hang up? Are you still with me?
No, I'm here.
Okay, you're still there. Okay, the line went dead. Okay. HAKEEM Jeffries, this lowbrow joke you have, right? The Democrat leader in the House. He looked like an idiot yesterday. So what does he do? He posts a photograph with Trump and Epstein on X. And then you call me about Epstein. Why don't you guys get some substance instead of talking about a guy that has nothing to do with Trump, who died 6 years ago?
Man, you guys just don't want to see it. It's so plain.
It's so plain. Yes. All right. I appreciate the call. See what I mean? This is, they've got two things they fall back on, the liberals, when they got no answers. Epstein or January 6th. And over the years, their fallbacks have changed. It used to be... They used to fall back on Strom Thurmond a lot, right? If you're the party of Strom Thurmond. That used to be, over the years, they have different, you're the party of Dave. They have these things they fall back on all the time. Right now, the in vogue thing is Epstein or January 6th. That's their big fallback. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Ben from Pompano. How you doing?
Hey, Ben. What's up?
Hey, yeah. Well, I think it's so ridiculous. The Democrats don't care about the Epstein files until it's politically
Well, hold on,
relevant.
Ben. Let me answer. My phones are ringing off the hook, so let me answer. Our listenership may have skyrocketed, but we're still a small operation here. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't care about they only care about the Epstein files. They had nothing to say about it until it became politically expedient for them. They hated police their entire life until January 6th, when all of a sudden they're like back to blue. But the real reason I called in is because I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, Nick Fuentes, Jake Shields, now Patrick Bet David's on my list. I pass his valuetainment crap hole every time I drive by in Fort Lauderdale. These people are not. They are not. They are just as bad as the Democrats, because what they're trying to do is fracture the base along the lines. They're just like the woke left, where the woke left believed white supremacy was the operating system, invisible, that was running society. The woke right believed Israel and the Jews are running everything. What they're trying to do is make Trump look bad. They want to associate Trump with people like Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, and the like. And then what the Democrats are now doing is they're pivoting to a more patriotic, they're trying to look more like Trump. You see Gavin Newsom in his tweets. You see this new senator in Maine, and he's like this tatted up white guy who's talking like like a tough guy, and he's appealing to men. You see the who just said it? They're now saying they're going to reclaim the flag. Why do Republicans always have to be patriotic?
The thing that's going on, if you've noted, hold on, I got to answer all these lines. Ben, there's a big rise in anti-Semitism going on in this country, and it's being promoted and spread by conservative influencers, some of the ones you've named, okay? Like Candace and others. And there's a lot of talk about, Qatar and things like this. I don't know, okay? I mean, I have some suspicions and
I buy it.
and things, and I do. I mean, I don't think everybody's on the Qatar train, but I do think some of them are, and all that. And there's been evidence of it.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they do? Why wouldn't foreign actors do it?
What's going on in this country that people don't realize is that it's this Qatar thing with all this anti-Semitism being spread by all the names you mentioned, right? Candace, Tucker, and all these other people.
And now Marjorie.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is just very disappointing to me. They're spreading this anti-Semitism. We've got Mamdani in New York, who's favored to win unless something changes pretty soon. And we're being taken over by these Islamic people in this country. It's a very soft invasion and takeover and conquering of our civilization. And it's happening under our nose. And they're using against us, which is one of America's greatest qualities, but it's also our weakness, and that's our love and acceptance of diversity. They use our diversity against us. And that's what's happening. And I don't go through this a lot, but a lot of these influencers are not independent people. You think they're independent people, but they're connected with conglomerates. They're connected with big companies, and you don't know it. And some of the names you mentioned, and I'm not going to go through names. You guys can look it up on your own. And there's agendas going on. A lot of the so-called new media is really establishment. You just don't know it. And that's
why I say it's an op. It's an op. No matter what evidence they come down to shoot down their theories, it's like a swarm of birds you see in the sky. They all move in the same direction all at once. And,
correct.
They'll come out with absolutely incontrovertible proof, and they're not good faith actors. You can tell the difference between a good faith and a bad faith actor when they're introduced to new information and how they respond to it. Every time new information comes out that debunks again and again and again one of their theories, they don't sit back and reflect and say, okay, this is what I thought, this is why I was wrong. They use it to further push the conspiracy. So no matter what you feed into it,
that's right.
What comes out on the other end is more evidence.
And I'm telling you that there's a big takeover going on in this country, and these so-called influencers that we're talking about are casting reasonable doubt in this assassination. And come on. They are. I'm sorry. I don't care if they say they're conservative.
We're losing Dearborn, Michigan. We're losing Minneapolis.
Yeah.
They're building a mini city in Dallas or Houston, Texas.
That's right.
These Islamists, I'm not talking Muslims, but these Islamists, they are people aren't even focusing on them. You think the real threat to this country is Jews? Jews aren't taking over cities, renaming streets, playing the call to prayer at 5 a.m. in the morning, waking up people and calling for Sharia law.
And part of Zohan in New York's success is he's riding this anti-Semitism train. All right, I got to run, Ben, for the break. I got to run. Sure. I got to run. If you're on hold, stand by. There's one opening on the board. Hold on. You got to hold on. There's one opening on the board where Ben from Pompano was at. I got to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. People, they even though I tell them, they say, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? And I tell them the same thing every time. I lost all this weight, over 35 pounds, without exercise, without starving myself, without pills, without shots, without injections. And you see these celebrities that take these shots and pills, they look like death. Me, I look great. I look great because I did it the right way with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and you can too. My results are typical. And remember, I've been in the maintain phase for months now. I haven't gained an ounce back. And you heard me talking about, I still eat my Twizzlers. I still eat my jelly beans, you know. I took my daughter out to dinner. We went to Chili's on Saturday night after church, so I'm eating regular stuff, but my results are typical. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, you can lose 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. Call for your free consultation right now. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. They can help you no matter where you are in the United States. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossSecret.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the phones after the break. Oh. All right. Okay. We'll be back shortly. That's the benefits of having the studio at home. I just went and fed the cats. All right, we will be back in about a minute, and then I'll go to the calls. Yeah, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Hanku, and Sagwa. Those are the cats. Or Luna. Sagwa's at my daughter's house. Yeah, so guys, this is the first month of Mike Lindell and MyPillow's sponsorship of the show expansion. So please go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout and load up. And they're going to let me know tomorrow, certainly by Friday, if they're going to continue, okay, with the extra that they're doing. They've been sponsoring us for a long time, but we did an addition for all this extra content. So it's important for you to go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane, and load up. All right, we got it coming back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. There is one opening on the board at 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm going to make your day, Brian Craig. I'm Steve Etheridge. Just moved down from New York. I believe in divine synchronicities. I think right now is one of them. Guess when I was born? On the 15th birthday of Anne Frank. And I've been like the invisible man. But now I think things are going to change. Hello?
Yeah, you said you're going to make my day. I'm waiting for that part.
Okay. Well, I was the son of the most benevolent, most benevolent New York politician, Russell Goodyear Dunmore, and my mother was the son of Edward Huntington. I get confused there. No, I've been an invisible man.
Yeah.
My whole life. My favorite prayer was, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. I go to all these different churches and go in there and say, on earth, in the Lord's Prayer, and they look like I got 5 eyes.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're not invisible here. All right. Well, hey, listen, welcome, and
no, I'm gonna be.
It's good. It's good to hear from you. Oh my. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, Tyrone Pompano.
Hey, what's up, Tyrone?
Hey, you're doing good, man. The grocery prices, man. You got that boy good, man. But Twizzlers and
jelly beans and jelly beans. Those are my
right?
Those are my. I love Twizzlers and I love jelly beans. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You killing me? I thought you'd be more like a Twinkie and a Tootsie Roll, something like that.
Yeah. Twinkies.
I thought you'd be like a cupcake or a Twinkie.
Cupcake.
And a Tootsie Roll.
And a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, I heard you the first 3 times. It wasn't funny then. It's still not funny.
Man. When these people, man, when they try to get you, you got to bring the receipts. You bring the old receipt, and then you bring the
oh, I should keep the receipts
ones,
from the grocery store? Nah, I don't keep grocery store receipts.
I just keep.
Listen. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. With these liberals that hate Trump, there's nothing I can show them or tell them is going to change their mind. Nothing. Okay, so it doesn't matter. They want to believe what they want to believe. All right, do you want to say Tootsie Roll again, since you enjoy saying that so much? All right, I appreciate that. And Twinkie, too. Oh, my goodness.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Mark from New York.
Mark
from New York.
Hey, what's up, Mark?
Yes. I just want to tell you.
Hold on, Mark. I got to answer the phone. All right. Hold on. All right, Mark in New York, you're a big fan, and?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of yours, and I love your expressions on your face when people talk to you. It's worth everything.
Yes.
You hear a lot of BS all day long, and I love your expressions on your face. You're an amazing guy. Keep up the good work on the show. You're fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that. I love our New York listeners. We have so many listeners in New York City. It blows me away. Outside, most, our highest rated areas, of course, are Florida, because we're here. And we have listeners all over the United States and the world. But our number 2 market is New York City. Blows me away. In fact, Steve and we should have sponsors in New York City and maybe even do an appearance one day. All right. Line 1, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tim Jackson, South Carolina.
Tim in South Carolina. What's on your mind?
Just curious about, all I hear is, where's the proof of the stuff that you're saying?
What? Be specific. What have I said that you take issue with?
I'm just saying.
Don't say everything.
All I hear
Pick
is
one.
You talking. All I hear is you talking about stuff, but you're never giving the actual evidence of what you're saying.
Well, I'm not in a court of law, but pick an issue that you disagree with me on that you've heard me say on the air today. What is something I've said that you take issue with?
I haven't taken an issue with anything because you're not giving me any proof so I can research it.
Well, pick one of the things that I've said that you might research.
What about, and if I go out, I'm sorry, I'm driving.
Yeah.
I'm driving through the mountains right now.
How convenient.
And my signal might go out.
Your signal's loud and clear. You're loud and clear. It's loud and clear.
All right. I'm trying to think of what it was the other day. I just got on the line this morning, so I didn't really get to hear a lot of what you were saying this morning. I'm trying to think of what I heard the other day.
You might have to give me a second.
Well, while you're trying to gather your thoughts, I'll tell you, okay? And I mention this too much, I know, because so many guys call. I start the show at about 5:15 a.m. every morning, and we're here till 9 weekday mornings. Plus, I do an afternoon show. I have a podcast, do weekend show and stuff. Even though the show doesn't start till 5:15, I set my alarm for 1:30 in the morning. But I usually get up around 1. And what I do is I take a quick 5-minute, 10-minute shower, and then I get in front of the computer and I read all the news for the day. And I do that every day, and I've done it for over 30 years. So I am a.
Where do you get the news from?
Every news source you could imagine. I spend hours each morning before I go on the air reading all the latest news in every publication, liberal and conservative. And I've been doing that every morning for over 30 years. And then when I'm off the air, I'm reading the news all day long too, from every source you can imagine. And so I'm very well informed about everything that I discuss. But you haven't been able to think of an issue that you disagree with me on. And now the phone went dead. How convenient. Do you think that was a cell issue? I don't think so. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? He hung up.
Brian, this is Jessica.
Hey.
I would like you to speak about when all these crazy lunatic Democrats call to bring up the Einstein files. Remind them that those files are being held by
let me tell you what.
Democratic judge.
Listen. Anytime you hear a Democrat say Epstein files are January 6th, that is the international sign of defeat. When they have no argument, they either mention January 6th or Epstein. Look at Hakeem Jeffries yesterday. He got his clock cleaned by the president. He walks out of the White House and posts a picture of Trump with Epstein. That's a surrender. That's like, I got nothing to say. Let me throw out something out there. You know, it's pathetic.
It's pathetic, but honestly, a lot of people in the media and a lot of people in social media, you hear them typing up the same thing over and over and over
the liberal
again.
talking points.
So, says their talking points. So all I need to tell this guy that called you before is that if he wants to talk about that, doesn't he go ahead and approach the federal judge appointed by Obama?
All right, listen, I gotta run for the break at the top, but you make some good points. I agree. If you're on hold, stand by. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Today's show is flying by. This is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. 2 hours down, 1 to go. We'll be back right after this. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Hey there, how's it going? Okay, hey, hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, we got 90 seconds. Did you have?
Okay.
I have a bunch of stuff, but did you have somewhere you wanted to go?
Yeah, no, you just go.
Okay, all right.
Lead with your strongest stuff.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Oh, I've been up since midnight, so.
What have you been up since midnight for? Can't sleep?
No, I don't want to say everybody can hear, but I've been up since midnight.
Well, that sounds promising.
No, it just sounds like I'm getting tired, and we have an hour to go. So, and I've been on the air since 5:15. No. All right. But you're more awake than I am.
Well, I've got about 6 cups
Listen,
of coffee on me.
Do you have anything from your radio station in Orlando? Like an.
I'd have to look.
Well, I need you to look. I'm trying to find something like from you from that an article, an ad, something with you from that radio station.
I got to check with Lori when I get off the air. I don't
Okay,
know.
all right.
Can't answer
KIS,
that
I think
way.
it was. All right, stand by. Hold on. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. The third hour of the Steve Kane Show has begun. Today has been a wild show, Steve. I must tell you, the liberals in the audience have lost their minds, more so than normal. President.
How can you lose what you've never had?
Yeah, really. President Trump did two things yesterday on different issues and different meetings that I think may be the most brilliant things he's ever done in his presidency. And I want to go through them with you.
Go ahead.
And I'll do it. But I just want to mention, did you, we received some advice on the air today. Did you hear Greg 2 called in with some business advice?
How long ago was it?
Well, I don't know. It was, I don't know, 30 or 40 minutes ago. I don't remember. But he called in the last hour, and he had some.
What was the business advice?
Oh, well, he said we've made a mistake. You know, the show reach has grown tremendously. Do you know online? This is just now. This doesn't include the radio stations or the radio station feeds or any of this. This is just my thing online. Okay, what I do online during the show. We have had. In the last 28 days, this is just on my YouTube channel, 3,378,794 people have tuned in. So about 3.4 million people have tuned in just online to the program in the last month. And Greg, too, said we're going about this wrong, that's a mistake. We shouldn't have millions of people listening. We should have just a few thousand. The show would be better if we just had a small audience of just a few thousand instead of millions and millions of people. I really appreciate that's some great business advice, Greg. I've never heard such absurd business advice in my life, but that obviously he's just not happy with the success of the program. But let's talk about what's important other than our successes, which are important to me and you. But President Trump yesterday made two moves that were so brilliant. I'm going to do them in reverse. The second one's the best one. I usually do the best one second, but what he did to Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries yesterday was one of the most brilliant moments in presidential history. And I don't think people realize that. He had this meeting with them on the budget. And Schumer and Hakeem, did you see what happened with the video he released?
I got the aftermath of it.
Okay.
I didn't
He met
get
okay.
the first.
He met with Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat leader in the House, and Schumer from the Senate, and they won't agree. And Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries want President Trump to pay for all this free health insurance for illegals. So Trump kicked them out, and they came out and they live in another world. They think that Democrats are still popular. So they came out in front of the White House and had a press moment blaming Trump for shutting down the government and all this common sense solutions and
Right.
blah, 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 blah. President Trump took an AI-generated video of that moment and posted it on True Social, and tens of millions of people have been viewing it and laughing their butts off. It's the video, but it's been re-edited with AI. It has Hakeem Jeffries with a Mexican mustache with a Mexican sombrero on. And I can't play you the audio of what Schumer says because there's a lot of profanity in it, but he tells the whole truth about the Democrat Party. I have an article. It'll lose its impact when I read it to you, okay? But the video of it is hilarious, okay? Let me pull it up. This was the funniest thing, Steve, that I've ever and I was telling people at the top of the show when I went over this, for something to be funny, any joke, for it to be funny, there's got to be some truth to it, right? If it's just
a basis in reality,
it's got to have for something to be funny, it's got to have a basis in reality. Now, I will say when I read this to you, it will lose about 99% of its impact. But with the AI, it's Schumer, the AI-generated voice. It's Schumer's mouth moving, and it's in his voice, and he's standing next to Hakeem Jeffries wearing a Mexican sombrero with a Mexican mustache. And this is what, and Trump posted this, and this is what Schumer says. Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because all of our woke trans bull S. Schumer's likeness is saying this in Schumer's voice as mariachi music is playing in the background. Then Schumer goes on to say in the video, not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of S. Trump posted this video of Schumer. At least for a while until they learn English, and then they realize they hate us too. And it's in I wish I could play it on the air, but because of the profanity, I can't play it. And without the profanity, it uses its impact. But the video is funny. It's been viewed by many millions, tens of millions of people. It's in Schumer's voice, and it's funny because it's true. Everything he says is true. They're trying to get health care for the illegals so that they can get them to vote for them. Everybody knows this. And it is the biggest slam dunk any president has ever done in any meeting. And a good bookend to it, because in the first term, when the Democrats won the midterms and Schumer and Pelosi came in and said, elections have consequences, Mr. President, screw you. Now we're in charge, So it was just a beautiful moment of this is one of the things you taught me. The worst thing for a politician is to become the object of ridicule, right?
That's correct.
You and I, ridicule is food for us. We love it when people try to ridicule us. I mean, we're like the fish with the food, when you drop it in there. But if you're a politician, when you become an object of ridicule, you're done. The first example was Dukakis with the tank.
Yes.
and there's been since
that's the classic example.
That's the textbook example. And since Dukakis and the tank, there's been a series of incidents with politicians that become an object for ridicule, and then they fade away, and you never hear from them again, right? That's just the way it is. And he did a job of ridiculing both Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. And it was some of the most sophisticated political satire, this video, I have ever seen. And what makes it so powerful and such ridicule for them both is it's true. Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are advocating for Mexicans and South Americans, not United States of Americans. And that video sums everything up perfectly. He not only did he win the day in the debate, he's going to win the whole issue because of that video. It was brilliant. So at the end of the day, he took down the Democrats. Earlier in the day, his deal that he made with that they offered the Palestinians with Netanyahu was beautiful and spectacular beyond imagination. The president.
I watched that. Yeah.
President Trump. They released the whole peace treaty that they are offering the Palestinians. It's 20 points. Steve, the Palestinians, if they wrote their own peace treaty, it wouldn't be this good. There's only one thing that they want that's not on it. They get everything they want, and Gaza becomes a self-governing Palestinian state and paradise with one condition. You got to stop killing Jews. So if you'll stop killing Jews, you'll all be rich living in paradise forever in Gaza. And Netanyahu, he doesn't think they're going to take the deal. President Trump doesn't think they're going to take the deal either. If they do, great. If they don't, Netanyahu's going to wipe out Gaza.
What do you think?
Well, I hate to be a fence sitter because I'm not a fence sitter. I think they won't take the deal. They may pretend to take it, but they won't take it. And because I remember they used to offer all these things to Arafat and the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, and they used to turn them down.
Trump's got it set up better than that. I mean, he's put it to them where they're backed against a wall. They've either got to say yes or no. They're between the rock and the hard place.
It's very complex, and it sets up what a Palestinian state in Gaza. And there's no way that that they'll go. I would say the chances are
then the whole place is going to go up in flames because Trump has shown in the past in similar situations like the thing in Iran that he has a very short fuse after he's given a deadline and it is ignored.
If they don't take, if they don't,
5 minutes.
Yeah, if they don't take the deal, or they pretend to take it and then things fall apart, he's going to give the green light to Netanyahu to wipe out Gaza and take it, do it.
He did yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave him the green light.
Yeah, it'll happen.
And he's going to repeat it today.
Yeah, it'll happen. So he had both of these meetings yesterday, back to back. First was the Netanyahu, and then the second was with Hakeem and Schumer, and he just filleted the day like a maestro. It was just some of the most beautiful presidential politics back to back. That was history yesterday. Both of these things back to back. There have never been any slam dunks like this he did yesterday. He made them both offers they can't refuse. This thing he did with Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer they're jokes.
Schumer's finished. My God, there's nothing
Yeah.
Schumer can say will make him a winner.
Yeah, he can go home with his $80 million that he somehow made.
He's in one of those, a perfect lose-lose situation.
If the government shut down till the midterms, we win. I mean, no one has any sympathy for the federal workers that get furloughed, okay? Except the Washington insiders. So, listen, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We're going to take our first break of the third hour. Everybody on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. We'll be right back. Hey, Barry, it's Brian. Hey, Barry. Hey there. Hold on. We got about 2 minutes, okay? I'm going to put you on hold. All right? Okay, yeah, stand by. Steve, you there?
Yes, Sam.
All right, we got 90 seconds. Less than 90 seconds.
Look nice and loud.
All right, I'm going to conference Barry in. Okay, hold on. Hey, Barry, we have 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Barry.
Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Everybody.
Good to hear from you.
Yeah, okay, stand by. 10 seconds. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. And it's time to check in with... Yeah, hold on, Steve. Yeah.
Go ahead. I got one of Barry's on hold here.
Okay, I'm doing the lead into Barry right now, Steve. I'm in the middle of it. And on the line, we have attorney Barry Siegel. You know, attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group, you have a very... fancy website, and I noticed that I'm not even sure if you know this, but your website's been updated, and it says right at the top of SiegelLawGroup.com, are you prepared for long-term care cost, which is something you talk about a lot on the program.
Yeah, we sure do, and good morning, Brian and Steve. So, yeah, I mean, that's a big part of what our practice is all about. I mean, we really have, the advantage given, our dual areas of practice, the estate planning and the elder law, where our clients really get to benefit from that, because not only are we setting things up for their legacies, setting things up so that there's probate avoidance, guardianship avoidance, making sure that the beneficiaries are receiving the assets properly so that they get to actually keep it. They don't lose it if they get sued or have creditors or divorces or bankruptcies.
Yep.
And then also the other part of the duality of that is because we're elder law attorneys, we can set things up so people don't have to worry about running out of money during their lifetime. Because really, what good is a great estate plan if there's nothing left at the end of the day, at the end of your life, to leave to your loved ones? So we help preserve your assets from the biggest threat you have as you age, the cost of long-term care, staying at a nursing home or assisted living facility, or even getting home care. All of those services are not free. They're very expensive.
Yes, they are.
And you got to have a plan as to how you're going to pay for it. The one thing that, if you don't have long-term care insurance, which most people don't or don't have enough of, then the issue is, well, then are you going to pay for it yourself? And if you are, do you have unlimited funds to pay for this? Or are you going to potentially go broke or leave your spouse broke? Not a good plan. We could help you set things up so that when the time comes, you've planned ahead and you could qualify to get government benefits to pay for those, to pay for all this care or the lion's share of it, and you don't have to worry about going broke during your lifetime.
Yeah, and if you're in Florida, where we have the oldest population in America, we all know someone who they didn't prepare. And those last couple years of life can be the most expensive couple years of your life. And there's a surviving spouse that is often left broke and even homeless, moving in with the adult children or even grandchildren. And it doesn't have to be that way. Call the Siegel Law Group, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online at SiegelLawGroup.com. And that's Siegel spelled Siegel. And you have a great, I don't know how often you check out your website, Barry, but you have a spectacular website, I got to tell you. SiegelLawGroup.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice. See, whoever your webmaster is, they earn whatever you pay them.
I'll let them know that you called them out this morning.
Yeah, it's good. No, I'm serious. SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry, we'll talk later in the week.
All right.
All right. Take care. All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, Steve, we're back. So, because what do you think the Palestinians will do, Steve? You think they'll take this deal?
The thing that I wanted to point out another genius move of Trump. Everything Trump does is so carefully and meticulously worked out, but he set the thing up so that his speech ended with producing the document that he wants them to sign. So it all covers all the points he wants to cover, and once he has completed that, They have to. Every Arab country signed it before they pass it on to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they've been given a document which has been approved by every country, every Arab country in the Mideast.
He was on the phone with them during the Netanyahu meeting.
It was great. It was great.
And then while they were talking, Netanyahu and Trump, the White House released the treaty, and then they didn't take questions. And that was a double smart move. And the media was so mad because the media was like, well, we can keep this war going if we just ask the right questions, and they couldn't. They didn't get their chance. Right. And that was some of the most statesman activity I think we've ever seen yesterday between those two meetings with the president. He is.
Of course, the fact that Donald Trump is a genius should come as a surprise to no one at this point.
Yeah, but he finds new ways to, listen, Picasso, people were still impressed when Picasso, you know a Picasso when you see a Picasso, but you're still impressed, right? Like that one you have in your living room. That impresses me every time I come over. I know, isn't it? All right. Well, our number is 888-465-2631. So what do you think, though, they'll do? Will they take this deal, you think, or?
I don't know. I'm hearing both sides making a good case, so it's hard to tell.
Because I remember with Arafat, with the PLO, they offered him these incredible deals, too, and he would always turn them down because they didn't want the war to end. So that we'll find. All right, well, our number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're calling from. And I'll tell you this too, Steve. I think Trump wants the government to shut down so he can fire a bunch of furloughed federal workers. I'm telling you. That because they've talked about they talked about how he might fire some of these people when they're sent home with a government shutdown.
I'll go out on a limb and make a prediction that Schumer resigns.
Resigns from the Senate?
Yes.
Really?
It announces his retirement.
Oh, that he's not going to run.
Yes, that's what. That's
really?
What I would. That's my. Yeah. There's no way out. He's in the perfect lose-lose situation.
Well, I don't want that to happen.
No, well, that's why it probably will happen.
Because I'll tell you very specifically why. AOC will walk into that Senate seat, and I don't.
Well, that's of course that's at the root of everything. That's what's made him look so bad.
Yeah, she wants that too. Yeah. All right. Let's take some calls. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. Good morning. This is Rich. Good morning, Steve.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, I believe this is what's going to happen here. They're going to take the deal, and we're going to get the hostages back, along with the deceased. And then I believe that they'll form their government or whatever, and because they are not asking Hamas to surrender, I believe that would be the worst position to take in government for the new government, because I think they will be bumped off one by one. And I believe we'll be back to square one again, because these people have one thing on their mind. Their lifelong dream is to kill Jews and get rid of Israel.
That's right.
And it's not going to change.
That's right. I mean, they've basically made everyone in Gaza a multimillionaire if they just stop killing Jews. So I don't think they can do it. I think they'll take the deal, but go back on it. They can't. Well, they're like, it's like an addict. It's like an addict. They'll give up the drugs and then they go on a bender.
Yeah, they'll have to take the deal, because right now, if they don't take the deal, they're done, and they know they're done. But they get time to regroup.
Yes.
They're going to see the people that they put in power, and they're going to decide, well, we don't want these people because we want to be in charge, and they're going to bump them off one by one. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna and we're gonna be right back to the same garbage again, because it's in my mind there's no way they can coexist, and you have too much pressure from this stupid world that we're in, that they're against the Jews.
What you're basically I should not use this example because it trivializes it and people won't like this. negotiating with the Palestinians and the Jews is like trying to negotiate between the Klan and Black Lives Matter, and they're going to live next door to each other.
Yeah,
how are you going to do that?
Yeah, never going to happen. What do you think, Steve? You think I'm wrong here?
Well, I think that they're going to dither over issues. They're going to create some phony. The Arabs are going to create some phony issues, and when that happens, they're going to be dithering while our side is pushing buttons and blowing them off the face of the earth. They don't.
But they know that.
When Trump gives a deadline, half of them are people making decisions over there are suicidal anyway. The people you got to worry about are looking to go to where do the Arabs go? No,
Egypt, Gaza, and Egypt.
Valhalla.
Oh, Valhalla. I don't know. Is that where the Klingons go? Who goes to Valhalla? Valhalla.
The biggest thing here is I think they're going to accept it. The reason I say that is because they haven't asked Hamas to surrender. And they haven't asked, you don't see a white flag. Yeah. Hamas is still going to be there. And because they say, well, you can be there, but you're not going to rule.
Well, see, that's the thing. They gave them all of that you're talking about. I don't think President Trump or Netanyahu expect them to take the deal. You know, he's putting to part of this deal is this ruling council, this governing council that'll be led by President Trump, and Tony Blair's on the council. And I'm thinking, it's Tony Blair. Where'd he come from? You know, if they really thought that they were going to go for it, would they put Tony Blair on some governing council in Gaza? That seems so strange to me.
Yeah, but I think they're going to have to go for it only because if they're on their last leg and they know it. Yeah. But they can regroup. All day they're buying on time.
All right, Richie. All right, Richie. We got to run, but I appreciate the call.
All right,
Steve. You know, we got a new sponsor joining us this week here on the radio station, Life Imaging FLA, and I'm so excited. You know, I have kept this. I don't know if secret. You've heard me talk, perhaps, maybe you haven't remembered, Steve, because I don't talk about it a lot, but I've mentioned from time to time that I have an extraordinary amount of life insurance. I have multiple life insurance policies, and there's a reason why. I've had high cholesterol my entire adult life. My cholesterol is about 300, and it's been that high the whole time I've known you. And Life Imaging FLA has just changed my life. I'm going to tell you how. I just assumed I was going to have a heart attack and die in my 50s, and I'm in my 50s now. And each and every day for years, I've worried about this, okay? Every doctor I have ever had has told me if I don't get my cholesterol under control, I'm going to have a heart attack and die. Even members of everybody's been worried about it for years. I've been worried about it. And I had a heart scan and a full body scan done by Life Imaging FLA. Steve, when I went in there, I went over there with one of the guys from the radio station, Scott, and I was sweating. I was expecting to walk out with minimum 30% blockage in my arteries. And I thought by today, because this was last week, today's Tuesday, I was expecting to be in surgery today getting stents put in. And what I found out is that I have zero blockage and zero plaque buildup in all of my arteries. I have the arteries of a 20-year-old, and my entire body is there's no buildup, there's no blockage, there's no plaque. Oh, and by the way, I also have no cancers or anything else. I am in perfect health, and my 300 cholesterol. I'm not saying I shouldn't get it down, but the peace of mind I have, I've just assumed I was going to be a dead man in the next couple of years from a massive heart attack. And you know, guys in their 50s, when they have heart attacks, that's it, the widowmaker. And when I got that report, I felt so great. Now, it could have gone the other way, and I would have found out. You know, Life Imaging FLA, they can easily detect heart disease and even some cancers before you even show any symptoms. And they've got this scanner. It's completely open. You don't have to get undressed. I wore my regular clothes, shirt and jeans and shoes. And it's absolutely amazing. I didn't have to put on a hospital gown or anything like that. give them a call, Life Imaging FLA, for your free heart scan right now with just a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. Pick up your cell phone and call pound 250 and say the keyword free heart scan. That's pound 250 on your cell phone and say free heart scan. Pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. We'll be right back. All right, put you on hold, Steve. Hold on. All right. I saw that, Chuck. I know, Stovacor, I know. I couldn't think of a better joke than that when you said it. Okay, guys, we will be back shortly, and I got to remind you, go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, and this is the first month of Mike Lindell sponsoring our extension, the 4-hour show, my afternoon show, my weekend and podcast and everything. So I'm going to be meeting with them by the end of the week, and they're going to let me know how this month of sponsorship is done. So please go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, so that Mike Lindell will continue his support of the expansion of the program.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98. Only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, Steve, you there?
Sam.
All right, stand by. We're coming back in 20 seconds. You want to go to the phones, or do you have somewhere to go?
Well, I have a quick comment, and then let's go to the phones.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, Steve.
I just wanted to clarify my prediction. You know how I love these look into the future games. My prediction is that Schumer will vote to pass the budget, and sometime within a 24-hour period, before or after that announcement, he is going to announce that he is not running for re-election. That's my prediction.
If anyone knows when this $80 million man who's only been a public servant his whole life is up for re-election, let us know. You know, I would.
I think he's up for election now.
I think so. I think so too. But if somebody can confirm that, let me know. And you know, I'd like to get him on the show because I want to find his secret. How do you work for the government your whole life and build up $80 million in net worth? Because whatever he's doing to make that $80 million, I want to duplicate that, right? Don't you?
Yes, but Trump has put him in a corner where there's no good move he can take now.
Well, you know, when I watched Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer with the press conference, the real one that wasn't AI enhanced by Trump, And then I watched some of CNN yesterday. They're living on another planet. They still think it's like 2022, and all these wokesters.
Well, they're in shock. They're shell shocked.
Yeah,
they're shell shocked. They don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I don't. You see, they're not. I'm sure it's dawned on him that it's a major option not to run again, because he can't. If he runs, he's going to get beat by AOC.
You think AOC is going to try to primary him out of?
Absolutely, she's a heavy favorite to do that.
That would be.
You didn't know that?
Well, I know she wants the seat, but I've heard him talk about it. But I didn't know she'd actually do it.
Well, but if he turns on the base, which is her,
yes,
that's how he attempts to win during the primaries.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, I just, I know I was on hold, and I can't hear what's going on, but I definitely want to let you know that you got to see this, hear the Secretary of War. It's a definite, it's going to be a definite plus for you.
Okay.
He's basically bringing it back to higher standards.
Yeah.
From the top on down.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Appreciate the call. Appreciate the call. You know, this thing though, Steve, with AOC, AOC in the Senate is a dangerous thing. Okay. I mean, right now she's a joke, but they're planning on running her for president one day. You know.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they don't really have a lot else.
You know, yeah, exactly. And putting her in the Senate is a step towards that. And I know it's far-fetched right now, but eventually, at some point, the Democrats may have a chance at the presidency again. And I certainly don't want it to be her. You know, I mean,
she could be formidable in a future life. It depends. It's just the Democrats are so badly damaged. It's hard to conceive of them winning any presidential or any election on a national basis for a while.
Yeah. So I mean, you just don't want AOC in the Senate. You know, right now, when you're in the House, except for rare exceptions, you're in a constant state of panic because they're constantly, as soon as they get elected, they got to start running again. It's because they're up every 2 years, and they don't. Senators, it's like the House of Lords in England. All right, they're set for life. They're there forever for the most part. I mean, Schumer has been there a long time, but not as long as you think. He hasn't been there 50 years, but he's been there a long time. Remember, Hillary was originally running for that seat, and I forgot the guy.
And look how well that turned out.
Yeah, she got it eventually, but there was, I can't remember the name of the guy she was running against now. But anyway, he probably wouldn't have been any better than Schumer. But Schumer, once you get in the Senate, it elevates you. And we do not need a Democratic socialist who's buddying up with Zohan Mamdani to be in the United States Senate for New York. It would, the Democrat Party, if they get a comeback, it's going to be a bad one. The polls that have come out since Adams withdrew have helped. Mamdani's just as far ahead as he was. It hasn't moved anything. Now they haven't made any big moves, and it really depends on whether the Democrat Party machine in New York is going to let Mamdani win or back the independent Governor Cuomo. I don't know. But if you have Zohan Mamdani become the mayor of New York City, and then AOC, the United States Senator for the state of New York,
it would be a disaster.
It would be a disaster not just for New York, but for this country, because it could begin a god-awful trend, a god-awful trend. And, the Democrats, they did themselves in with Bernie Sanders. See, Bernie Sanders, when he was running in the Democrat primaries, when Hillary was running for president and all of that, in '08 and after, and they let him they let him run the Democrat Party for president in the primaries when he was no longer a Democrat and he became a Democratic Socialist. That was the beginning of the end of their party, because now we got all these AOC is a Democratic Socialist, Mamdani's a Democratic Socialist, and when they let these Democratic Socialists in through Bernie Sanders run for president, that was the beginning of the end of their party. And we want the party to end, but you don't want, Zohan Mamdani, what he is going to do to New York, I don't know if we'll ever recover from, Steve, because I know you've got that Dinkins experience, but the people...
Well, you're right. I mean, that's what I'm saying is why if you're agreeing with me.
I don't think...
I mean, the Democrats have been dead for a while.
Yeah.
I can't conceive of them winning on a national basis.
Well, the main thing that's happening, even if AOC becomes the senator and Mamdani and all this, the mayor, the new census and the realigning of that, when they realign the House seats, the Electoral College is the same as your House representation. So if you have 25 House seats, you have 25 Electoral College votes, okay? And these blue states are overrepresented. So the new census, New York's going to lose seats and lose power in the Electoral College, like California, and red states like Florida are going to gain. So we may be able to cancel that out. But you see these areas where these Muslims have gotten elected, Steve, what they've turned into, And that is what will happen in New York with Mamdani. It's not like the Dinkins era. Dinkins was messed up, but they were still like Americans. This will be a totally foreign experience. All right, I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to take our final break and come back with the Gold Report, all right? We'll be right back. Hey, wait, hold on. Okay. Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we got 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to conference in William. All right, William, we have about 20 seconds.
Okay.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. And it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with today's Gold and Precious Metals Report. How the metals look today, William?
Metals looking great. The gains from yesterday are being offset by a little bit of profit taking today, but not to be unexpected. Yesterday's gain on gold, $74.10, hitting a new record high of $3,835, closing out the day near the highs of $3,832.80 the ounce. $3,800 gold is here, and silver down or up 86 cents yesterday, hitting a high over $47 an ounce, closing out the day at $46.85 the ounce. Platinum gaining $24, closing out the day at $1,599 the ounce, and palladium was up $1 at $12.49. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of $3,792 to $3,872. And gold right now, $3,810. That's down $22.80, giving us those little pullbacks that we get. Don't last very long. So if you're looking to add to positions or buy some gold, today's the day to do it.
Yeah.
Silver down 90 cents at $45.95 the ounce. Platinum down $39 at $1,560. And palladium down $29 at $1,220. So a little bit of a pullback, giving you a little bit of an opportunity before we get to $4,000 gold.
That's we might have to do a special interview that day. 4,000 gold. I don't know. We gotta get prepared for that, because that's, yesterday I meant to ask you about something, because you do something that's amazing. Now we were talking yesterday that you sell and buy. And we were talking about the spectacular cash value people are having on, you even said hollow jewelry, hollow gold jewelry. And obviously you can walk out with cash in hand. But one thing you got me onto, William Youngerman, that I think is cool, you could take whatever you have that's made of the metals and exchange it for coins. So you can monitor the value of your gold, of your silver, right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we have many people that come in and trade in things that have no recognizable value for items that are pure gold or silver or something that they can easily monitor the value of their precious metals.
Yeah, and that's a pretty smart. Now, of course, if you want cash, you can do that too and walk out with the cash. But that's a great way, so you can monitor the value of your metals. All right, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. This is the time. I mean, I don't know. I kind of, to me, this is a gold rush. I don't know if it is to you, but it is to me. Give William Youngerman a call, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop in. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. And you can find both his website, you can find both his address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. That's williamyoungerman.com. All right, William, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thanks.
All right, take care. All right, we are back. All right, back to the phone, Steve. What do you want to do?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. The thing that really stands out to me, well, I tell you what really stands out to me the most, we have Donald Trump. When I look at Hakeem Jeffries and I look at Charlie Schumer and I look at the leadership of Hamas Party, they don't have a guy like we have, like Donald Trump. And these guys negotiating with them are...
There's never been a guy like Donald Trump.
Well, no, there hasn't. These guys are almost like easy marks for him. He can set them up and kind of get what he wants and that. But especially this Democratic Party's got nobody. I mean, there's nobody on the bench.
You know what's happened here?
Down the road.
I'll tell you what's happened. By the way, did you watch the press conference with Trump and Netanyahu?
Yes. No, I have to watch it. Didn't get a chance
Trump said Abraham in a different way, like Abraham, and I said to my wife, I said, "Oh, watch, they're going to be all over him for mispronouncing it." And then Netanyahu says, "No, that's how we say it in Hebrew." So I guess they were back in the meeting saying, "Is that how you guys say it, Steve? Abraham, not Abraham?" I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, you guys.
Wow.
Okay. But no. In Trump's first term, the campaign went on for what, a year and a half, 2 years or something? It went on a long time. It was a long campaign. And then he was president.
Yeah.
And he didn't have time to prepare. And in these last 4 years, he's done nothing but prepare. So he has all these experts in every field around him, and including negotiators. And Schumer...
They're loyal, too, I think. I think they're loyal.
Loyal, yes. And Hakeem Jeffries is a joke. He's a DEI guy. He's no Tip O'Neill or anything.
Yeah.
And even yesterday, if you guys saw Nancy Pelosi yesterday, she used the F-bomb twice in the press. She lost her mind. And they're dealing with third-rate players and never-beens like Schumer. Yeah. And Trump, it's not just that he's great. He has surrounded himself with the first team. I mean, these are top shelf people in every expertise that he has them in, and it's like the major leagues going up against the minors, and he
absolutely.
It's fun to watch.
Well, I watched him. I was making the moves like. Well, I don't think we'll ever see a president like this again, unless
Never.
Trump runs for another term.
Never.
But even when he deals with Hamas, everybody knows that Hamas's mission statement is to destroy Israel, to destroy the Israelis and the Jewish people. That's just it's in their DNA. Now he sets up the deal, almost a deal like where they almost have to take it. But even if they take it, they're not going to adhere to it. It's not going to last. So he's already told, well, if it doesn't last, I'm giving Israel the green light.
Yeah.
I think he's already negotiated Hamas out of existence.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just playing these guys, and they don't have a guy on that side who can play chess with Trump.
Listen. Trump has made, you see the respect the Saudis have. And I know the problems with the Saudis. You can't get everything you want. You got to make deals with bad dudes. You know, it's like this ISIS guy that runs Syria now. I know he's cleaned. I'd rather not have a ISIS guy, but you got to do what you got to do. And they respect him in the Middle East, and that's why he's getting things settled. But I'll tell you, Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, all of our leaders before Trump were like these guys. They look like jokes, but all our leaders were like them. We've never had we've never had top tier quality people running the country, not in our lifetime.
Right, that's right. One thing we're going to have some trouble with Syria because Turkey's getting some influence in from the north.
Whatever.
But that'll be a little while yet with Erdogan calling the shots. No, we've never had it. Our leadership used to look like the Democratic leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
But now with Trump in there and his cast that he's working with, man, they're just mowing these guys down.
Yeah.
And they have no. And I tell you, anybody leaves Congress with over $10 million, I think there should be some type of investigation automatically put into effect. This is ridiculous. Schumer, $80 million. This guy doesn't have the brains to make $80 million legally.
If you look at Schumer, and he's not alone. Letitia James, she went to Howard, and then she started working for Legal Aid, right? And she's worth tens of millions. Schumer, right out of law school, working.
Legal Aid.
Yeah, Legal Aid. Schumer, right out of law school, starts working for the government, and he's worth $80 million.
Right.
I mean, they're all crooks. That was the frustration that Biden had. Biden was like, "Why are they picking on me? Everybody's doing it."
Yeah. But how many guys go into politics because they have a legal background, but maybe the legal career is not going to take off, so the alternative is to go into politics?
Well, Ron DeSantis is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean,
I don't know how they do it, because to me, if I wouldn't take a nickel. If somebody offered me a nickel, I would think they were a Fed running a like an ab scam thing.
Right.
I'd be so freaked out. There's no way. If somebody offered me, and I mean literally 5 cents, I would report it. I'd be so afraid I was being set up. But what happens is you take the money, then they own you.
Well, these guys don't even seem to care. The quality of the people, they just don't even care, or they're too stupid to care. I don't know which is worse.
They don't have to care.
But $80 million, come on, And he's finished. He's done. Schumer has embarrassed himself.
Yeah.
All
right. Appreciate the call. All
okay,
right?
guys.
All right. Take care. Before we go, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Steve, we've had listeners from all over the United States call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and they are literally, this isn't figuratively, losing a ton of weight. Literally. And it's amazing to me. Men, women, all over the United States, and of course in South Florida. And, you can lose up to 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. My results are typical. And you guys have listened as I went through this weight loss journey, and you watched me online on YouTube and everything. No struggle, no problems. The weight just started melting off, and it has stayed off. So call and schedule your free consultation right now, no matter where you're located, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. Yeah, that's why I tell people, a lot of conservatives want to disagree with. I remember I take it away from politics. Remember the old WFTL, Steve? Of course you do.
Oh yes.
And we had a cast of people on the air there that were. There were some strange dudes. And people. it was a strange cast of characters, no doubt about it.
No one knows better than I. I was the one who hired all of them.
Yeah, and they were always complaining. And I remember once you told him, you said, "Stop complaining. This is the best job in radio you're ever going to have. It's so good. You just enjoy it." And they said, they couldn't enjoy it because they were nuts. But there a lot of that is to be. A lot of people say, "Oh, you never disagree with Trump, or you never challenge Trump." We will never again have a president that is as perfect as this. We're going to have, J.D. Vance will be great. Marco will be great. Pete Hegseth, they'd all be great. They'll be great. There's never going to be someone that wins at the level that Trump's winning ever again for us.
Well, there's only one Donald Trump. Never
right.
has been, even George Washington.
That's right. So Republicans, don't feel like you got to take issue with them every couple of weeks so you look like you're an independent thinker. Sit back and enjoy the ride and go along with it. Ride the wave. Because the next president after Trump will be a MAGA president too. But they're not.
Back and marvel.
Yeah, that's right. Our second MAGA president, who will probably be J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance is doing very well. He was good yesterday. He came out of that meeting and told the press what Schumer and Hakeem pulled, and it was great. And I've seen him in action a lot over the last. Trump has been allowing him to be the front man in a lot of different things here and there, and he's been doing very well. I've been impressed. But he's not going to be Trump. We're never going to have a president who wins like this on everything, who can't lose. So, ride the wave and go along with them, and yeah, exactly, marvel. It's just not going to happen again. And that's one of the reasons I get so frustrated when I hear Republicans challenging him on things he's doing. Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, and I'm my own man. They forget what it was like to be a Republican before Trump. With Newt Gingrich and the Republicans before Trump would always fall victim to whatever fake scandal. They'd come up with some fake controversy, and by Friday they'd apologize at a press conference. Right? Remember those days? It sucked. Yeah. And we were in a constant state to be a Republican was to be a loser. Because we had weakling leaders who always caved and were compromised, And if we had somebody good like Eric Cantor, people forget Eric Cantor, he humiliated Obama on television at a town hall meeting like no one's business. And next thing you know, they found something on him, they ran him out of Congress, right? So we've never had somebody who could stand up to these monsters and win before Trump. So sit back, shut up, and enjoy it. As far as I'm concerned. Well, listen, that's all the time we have for today. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. And don't forget, our cruise is coming up in March, our 10th annual MAGA cruise. You guys are all invited. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and join us, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. This is our 10th annual MAGA cruise with Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, and our great MAGA listeners out there. All right, everyone. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. God bless Charlie Kirk. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. All right. I lost track of the time, and I started signing off. I started signing off a little bit early, so I had to do a little filler there at the end. Guys, hey, listen, I do appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe, okay? And if you've not already done it, like the video and help spread the word about the program, okay? It's greatly appreciated. All right, guys, I'm going to take off today a little early. I've been up since midnight and all, but I will be back this afternoon, all right? Take care. Thanks for watching. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk.